Hey, everybody. How are you? How are you,
RFM,
Bill?
I'm doing great, RFM. We were just talking
Shoot.
off the air.
Yes.
Remind me what we were chatting about.
Well, I just realized there's something that I need to get. I don't necessarily need it. I may want it sometime during the show. So if I just sort of slide out of sight here for a time and then slide back into sight, that's what that'll be. Okay. So what were you saying? I'm sorry, Bill.
I was asking, what were we talking about before we went live?
What we were talking about was we're talking about Dallas. Dun, 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 dun.
Dallas Oaks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dallas, the TV series.
I don't know if folks know this or not, but there was an interview that was released of the first presidency, and we'll dive into that tonight. But what are your thoughts about what's going on in the world today? How's your week been?
My week is just running from one dumpster fire to another. Other people call them podcasts, but
Yeah.
they're awful lot of fun, and it keeps me out of the pool halls.
Yeah. Are you rolling everybody else there? Are you really good at pool?
Am I rolling everybody else there? That's what you used to do to drunks in Kent, Washington. We rolled the drunks. No, we didn't roll any drunks. Seriously. But rolling is something like when you go into a pool hall and you run the numbers.
I just mean where you were really good in the pool halls, and that's why you weren't allowed in there, because you would essentially gamble and go over games of pool and beat everybody's ass at the game. I didn't know if you were a pool shark.
I'm not a pool shark at all.
Gotcha.
Said
Well,
every pool shark ever.
right. That's how it starts. That's how it starts. Well, good evening to you, RFM.
Thank you so much. It's a Friday night. It's 2 weeks from Halloween, and the interior decorating has already commenced, as some of you can tell.
Yeah, the tie is orange, pumpkin-like. Reminds me a little bit of Charlie Brown. It's that color orange. So yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, this was back in the dark ages when there was only TV. Yes, it was color, but it was only TV. And so every year, first off, let me preface this by you talking about Charlie Brown, which makes me think of the Charlie Brown Halloween special, which was a yearly ritual for me. And that meant that every October I had to grab, the TV guide or the log that's in the newspaper, whatever. I had to find out and commit it to memory or write it down, because if you miss it, you don't get a second chance back in the 60s.
No, that's it. There's not any Netflix. There's no streaming. Ethernet is not a real thing. And you've got 13 channels, and you hope that something you like is on one of them. And if you miss it,
Now,
you missed it.
you're talking about your childhood now, because we had 3 channels plus PBS, if you want to call that a channel.
Yeah. My parents had a Curtis Mathis
I'm
TV.
speaking from a kid's point of view. There was nothing on PBS that interested me. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. My parents had a Curtis Mathis TV, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the last USA made television brand.
Really?
Yes, I think after
I've
that,
never even heard of it. So
Curtis
who am I to
Mathis.
argue with you?
Yeah, it's no Vizio, if you know what I mean.
A Vizio, that's like a TV brand now.
Yeah, that's like
And they make computer screens too, right? The monitors.
Mhm.
Okay,
They make all those things. You're right.
got it. Is that American? Vizio?
I don't think so. I don't think TVs are being made in the United States anymore.
Well, they will be before long. Don't worry. Hey, I took this picture last night. I thought it was really good.
It is.
That's such a lie.
I know.
No, I didn't take this picture. I painted it. No, that's another lie. I grabbed it off the internet. It looked really cool. So I did a screen grab. I did the thing where you crop it, right? I cropped the crops, Bill. I cropped the crops. And then I sent it to my email, and then I somehow managed to get it up here. It was a miracle, actually, with all those steps. But I think that looks cool. That's the harvest moon.
It's a nice looking moon. It's big, and I love it too. By the way, what you're pointing to, when the moon is really close, there are times where it's way out there and it almost can't be appreciated. And there's sometimes it's like right in your face, and it feels like you could almost throw a rock and hit it.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
When the moon hits in your eye like a big pizza pie, lots of more rain.
Yeah. I said it cooler than those guys, but maybe not.
Oh, you totally did. That was really nice. And the moon, something, by the way, I haven't talked to you, I don't think, tell me if I'm wrong, about the harvest moon, have I?
I don't know that I know a story from you specifically on the harvest moon.
Okay, because it would have happened recently, because I had always thought, having learned some time ago that the full moon in each month has its own name depending on the month that it appears in. And if there's a second full moon in the same month, that's a blue moon.
Mhm.
And then there's another thing about a blue moon, which is hopelessly confusing to me. So I don't want to go there, because what I'm trying to talk about is the harvest moon, which I had learned was the full moon in September.
Mm.
And that's frequently true, but not always true, because actually the definition is the full moon that's closest to the fall equinox,
Mm.
the autumnal equinox. And this year it was in October. October was closer. Of course, obviously September has a leg up on that game because it's the 21st or the 22nd of September. But it was in October was the harvest moon this year. Go figure.
Yeah, it's all astrology to me.
What I want to know is what happens to the regular full moon for October, whatever that's called. Does that just cancel? Does that go away until next year? Or what happens to that moon?
Does it take a rain check? I don't know. I guess inquiring minds would have to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm sure that the Farmer's Almanac has that figured out a long time ago.
The Farmer's Almanac, it somehow manipulated the entire world into giving it a reputation for being really good at knowing how the weather was going to be in the year following.
Well, yeah, it has a ton of stuff in it. I've looked at them before, never thoroughly, right? Because I don't want to learn anything by accident.
Yeah.
And so I was mainly for what's the winter going to be? And I think there's going to be a cold winter up here, because I believe that I've seen the swans coming back significantly earlier.
Yeah, those things do help. There are certain signs that nature gives us. The red in the morning, sailors take warning. Red at night, sailors take fright.
And tailors do too.
Yeah, well, everyone should take cover.
That's it, right. Don't mess with that red sky at night.
But there are certain indicators that if we're paying attention. So so there's that great picture. It is really cool. You said you found that on the internet, just a Google search.
I did. No, it just came up in my feed because I guess I look at pictures like this sometimes.
Gotcha.
So it ships me more. I don't know where all the voluptuous babes in bikinis come from, but these nice pictures, I understand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I wanted to put this up here. Okay, we're going to get to some stuff too, but I want to put this up here because Jacob Hansen, he's busy being disingenuous. In other words, he's being Jacob. I mean, what would you expect?
Yep.
So here's what he had written on the comments of a YouTube video that he put up a few months ago, featuring me. Actually, I think I'm on the thumbnail. Which is why I had any interest in looking at what it was about. It's called Critics Privilege. I don't even know what he's talking about. Okay, what is critics privilege? But then he says, why do they, i.e., the critics, apparently not the privileges, why do they run away from balanced engagements around the differences in our worldviews? And I put this up here because we're in the middle of Jacob Hansen refusing to debate Colby Reddish about the Book of Mormon. He refuses to. What he wants to do is have a side argument about whether he committed to do it in the first place instead of just doing it.
Yeah, he could just solve the problem right here, right now, today. And
it's like he doesn't have the courage of his convictions, Bill.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that. What do you think?
When I look at him saying, why do they run away from balanced engagements? Balance means that if there are obvious questions to be asked that walk your worldview into being completely and totally false and absurd, and you don't want to subject yourself to those questions, those are the questions that aren't allowed, then maybe you're the one who's stopping things from being balanced.
Yeah. I'm not sure when he's ever engaged with John Dehlin or Alyssa Grenfell either, but he lives in his own world. I heard from a shrink one time who I was probably paying an inordinate amount of money an hour just to psychoanalyze me. The problem about me is when I go in for therapy, it's my shrink that ends up needing to get a therapist. It happens every time.
They're expensive.
Yeah. So I don't know, but the definition of how it is that you know the difference between a neurotic and a psychotic. Have you ever heard this one? A neurotic. Okay, I'm sorry. I was just going to go right into it, but if you,
I have not.
okay. A neurotic builds dream castles in the air. The psychotic moves in.
Yes. And don't come close. Don't walk on his property either, because then he loses his shit.
So that was that. I just wanted to bring that up again. What I'm thinking about, Bill, just so you know, is at some point, maybe on a Friday, since we've got this great multi-purpose show called Mormonism After Dark, is just to announce that we're going to have a debate between Colby Reddish and Jacob Hansen on this show. And we'll announce the hell out of it. And we'll just leave it up to Jacob to show up or live forever in infamy.
If he doesn't show up, we probably should have something else prepared, because I would say the chances are significant that he is going to figure out some way to not show up. That's
when everybody calls in and dunks on him, including his mom, including his brothers and sisters, until he's shamed into showing up.
And FYI, they're fans of our work. They've left the church. They're watching things on this side. They're thinking about things. Yeah, there you go. His mom's going to be on. That would be a funny little bit. I would love that. We should pay an older lady to just come on the show and just pretend to be Jacob Hansen's mom.
Okay. To pretend to be his mom. You had me worried there for a second.
No. I'm always appropriate. You know me.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was worried about. So anyway, here's what I want to do. I want to just slip side. Okay. Do we have something? Maybe, hey, let's get to the thing that we can play the video. Then I can like move stage left and go get the thing that I didn't have with me when we started.
Yep, let's do it.
Get that video going.
I will.
Yes, this is a wonderful video about the announcement that was made by Gary Stevenson of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. Once again, there's only 12 in the Quorum of the 12, about who the new president of the church is.
Here it is. I'm just getting ready to go down to the old Joseph Fielding Smith vault with the plates, but we've got a little assignment for you today, champ. The quorum thought, you know what, Gary's been really crushing it. It's smiling in photos and saying brothers and sisters with conviction. Let's give him the big one. The big one? Yeah, you get to conduct the announcement of the new first presidency. Don't freak out, buddy. It's basically like reading a sacrament program, but with millions of people watching. Millions? Yeah. But hey, you'll do great. Just read the teleprompter. That's it. Word for word. No improv. No jazz hands. No brothers and sisters. I'd like to bear my. Just read the words. We even ran a practice teleprompter with your name on it to make sure that you could say Gary Stevenson without turning it into Jerry Stavis. Remember that? That was a fun day. I won't let you down. That's the spirit. And remember, this is history, Gary. Just announce President Dallin Harris Oaks. Simple. Dallin, like Vallon, but with a D. Not Dallas, not Darwin, not Dale. We even printed it phonetically on the screen for you. Dallin.
I am Elder Gary E. Stevenson of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and have been asked to conduct this afternoon's announcement. We welcome you from the Conference Center in Salt Lake City, Utah.
I knew then he was going to blow it.
Oh, he sees it coming like a freight train at that point. He knows it's going to happen. He just doesn't know exactly how it's going to happen.
He's already told the whole room, I'm going to fuck this one thing up.
On this memorable occasion of the presentation of a new first presidency. With the passing of our beloved prophet, Russell M. Nelson, on September 27th, 2025, the first presidency was dissolved. The men previously serving as counselors assumed their places in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. Again, confirmed to each of us in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles that Jesus Christ directs his church. We are honored now to announce that President Dallas Harris Oaks was set apart as the 18th president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We are honored now to announce that President Dallas.
Jesus, tap dancing Christ on a cornflake, Gary. It's Dallin. We rehearsed it. It's on the screen. It's literally right there. Dallin Harris Oaks. What is he, a fucking Texas senator? Are we merging with the Baptist Convention? Damage control. Someone cue the tab choir. Somebody fucking pull out the Ronald Pullman file and let's fucking record this with crickets in the background. You blew it, Gary. One fucking job. You fucking screwed the poop. I said crickets.
Even a laugh track or cough track.
Because it's not conference where there's a live audience watching the play. It's just these guys with a camera.
Oh, right. You did that intentionally.
All right, here we go.
By the way, I'm sort of echoing, but
oh yeah, let me get rid of that.
Do you think that? I mean, he didn't correct himself when he said it. Do you think he's figured it out by now?
This is his guy. It's not my guy. It's his guy.
He didn't say Dallas. I mean, Dallin. He just plowed right through it like his name was Dallas.
He served around this man for whatever, a decade or two at the least. He should know this guy's first name. It'd be like me calling you Susan Breyer ice cream or something. It doesn't make any sense.
Dallas, that's pretty cool, though. At least I'm from Texas at different parts of my life. You know what? The only thing that would have made it better is if he had broken into a rousing chorus of Big D and had all the apostles behind him doing time steps to it and singing, "You're from Big D, I could guess." You know the song?
No,
Big
I do
D, little A, double L A S. So Big D is Dallas. And that spells Dallas, my darling, darling Dallas. Don't it give you pleasure to confess? Okay, that's enough. That's from The Most Happy Fella. It's not a very widely known musical, but it was the first one I did after my mission.
Yeah, this is almost over. I don't see any sense in playing the rest of this unless folks.
Weren't you almost done?
What's that? It is almost done.
Are there more F bombs to drop?
There's going to be F bombs. Christ, now you got me thinking twice about how to say it. Anyway, there's that. So that was funny. Gary Stevenson. It's like he didn't know the guy's name. I thought that's the strangest thing. Correct yourself.
Did you ever see The Odd Couple episode with Tony Randall? And it'll come to me because it's obvious. When he had to take a photo, he's a photographer, right? He's a professional photographer, and he has to take the photograph of the midgets. I've told you this story before, haven't I?
I'm sure you have, but
it's one of the funniest scenes in TV. So this is from 55 years ago. My gosh. Tony Randall and Jack Klugman. Okay. They were fantastic together. Anyway, the whole thing is that even back at 55 years ago, it was in the public consciousness that calling little people midgets could be offensive. And so, of course, Felix is the one who insists on calling them little people because he's the sympathetic, the civilized one. And Oscar Madison, the guy who's a sports writer for the newspaper, he just calls them midgets, you know. And so this is the whole back and forth between the two of them for the first half of the show about how they should be called little people and how Oscar just calls them midgets and how it makes Felix so mad. So now we get to the second half of the show after the commercial break, and the couple, the husband and the wife, they show up. They're very short, as you might imagine. And Felix is doing this crazy thing of having a handkerchief and then dropping it and bending over to pick it up to greet them at their level, as if he's not bending over to do that. So it's very funny stuff. Anyway, and then their children come in because it's a family portrait, as it turns out, and they're regular size. And so Felix says something like, "Oh my gosh, you're perfectly normal." I mean, nobody can do it like Tony Randall. So finally he gets behind the camera and he's got the thing over him, right? Maybe he doesn't. Anyway, and he says, "Okay, everybody ready? Okay, now smile and say midget." And then he just totally loses it. So that's the whole thing that makes that funny, is the idea of missing up the one word that you are so focused on that you're not going to mess it up, that you mess it up. So that was a long way of saying I can understand what happened. By the way, I've never seen a more drab suit and tie combination on a human being in my life. Did you notice that? It's like he's trying to fade into the background.
Oh, I said that looks like one that you'd want to pick up at the DI. That looks like a Deseret Industries tie where they're
It's one that I would be leaving off at the DI
for $1. Yeah.
if I didn't burn it in my backyard in effigy.
Which is a strange thing, because if I'm not mistaken, he is the wealthiest
Yes.
person to come into the Quorum of the 12 as far back as I can think of.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about Brigham Young, but billionaire, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's yesterday's millionaire. That's something. Yeah. He's got a lot of money. And, God bless him. It's just, it's a different kind of taste. You can see he wants one of the broad stripes, one of the two broad colored stripes in his tie to exactly match the drab dun color in his suit. And it does.
Yeah, that's just not a sacrifice I'm willing to make for the gospel of Jesus Christ. I have a shitty tie. So I don't know what to say.
When you're a guy, let's be honest, when you're a guy in the church, you only have so many options, because your white your white shirt is already dictated to you. And your suit, you can't do that much. And we can't accessorize like the ladies can. So basically what we're left with is our tie.
Yeah. What I'm bothered by is this guy goes out of his way, and this guy's got so much money. These suits are tailored to fit him. Don't tell me they're not. And yet he still goes, I'm still going to throw on a shitty tie. Still going to do it. Just throw that shitty tie on.
I'm sure it's a very nice tie. I'm sure it's more expensive than any tie I've ever had, and perhaps all of them put together. It's just a matter of taste.
Yeah, but we both agree. And when we agree, I think generally it's true.
He looks like the country cousin came to visit the apostles.
Oh, Dallas Oaks. So Dallas Oaks is
billionaire. That's what's so great. He's like the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah. All right. I'll tell you what. I didn't have the custom tailored suit. I couldn't afford that. I go to Walmart and get the $16.99 shirt, because out of my $34,000 salary, I was paying, with fast offerings, another $4,000 of that to the church to build up the kingdom of God. And but I did splurge on the ties, RFM. I did get a nice tie.
I always found that off the rack was fine by me.
Yeah. Just a solid color.
Wear pinstripes.
Yeah.
If it's a nice blue with pinstripes.
But you wouldn't wear this one.
Which one are we talking about?
Not in this decade. The one Gary Stevenson was wearing.
No. I would not. And it's like the brown version of this other blue that some of the members of the First Presidency were wearing in that conference. And I think it was probably President Eyring and President Oaks were wearing the dun version of blue. It's like it's supposed to be navy blue, but it's just off to where it goes toward the brown spectrum or something. I'm not sure what's going. And of course, you've got D Todd there, who has a normal blue suit on, and his is gray. And there's a bit of a pattern in it, I think. And he's looking very sharp.
Yeah, let me pull up. Are you talking about the meeting that just?
We want to see the suit. GeoPlanet Jane says she wants to see the suit again. She's not trusting my description. Maybe she got here late. Maybe she likes the suit and would like to see it again.
Let me give me just a second here.
That's right. It's right in the middle, isn't it? By the way, I want to see if you can just put me back on the screen here for a second, Bill. I tell you what, I'll do that later. We're fine. We're at the tie. I'm so sorry. Please go back. I apologize. Go back where you were, as you were, man. There's the tie. There's the suit. See what I'm talking about?
He picked a tie that goes perfectly with the background. It's like the most boring 2 shades of taupe you could find in the entire world.
Yeah, but you see how the one matches the drab stripe in his tie exactly matches the drab color of his suit?
Yeah.
And then the other one is a drab gold.
and it matches that prairie back there behind that couple with the guy with his hand raised about to smack
I know.
them.
I think that's the second coming, isn't it?
He looks like he's about to slap her, doesn't he?
Well, that's why he's on the left hand of Jesus. That's why he's on the left hand of Jesus, because he's about to slap his wife, saying, "You almost made me miss this."
This is almost like that picture, RFM. Gary Stevenson, leader of the LDS Church, these guys set themselves up as the authority. Jesus really doesn't have any effect. These guys get to decide everything. And he stands in the middle, and you've got the bad guys on the left and the good guys on the right.
And actually, I don't think that guy's about to hit his wife, because I'm a defense attorney and this is where I go just by nature. No, he's saying, "Look, honey, look at the wonderful Savior who's come." That's what he's doing with his hand.
Yeah. So there it is. That's what's happening in the image. But there's Gary.
And there he is. So, and now we're going to get to, eventually we're going to get to the first presidency and see if what I said about the suits holds. I wanted to ask everybody about the new interior decoration over my right shoulder in the background, and how many of you can correctly name the artist. And extra credit if you know the actual piece that this is based on.
That looks scary.
I wouldn't have known the piece, but the artist is obvious, at least to one such as I, and anybody else who has any familiarity with this particular artist.
That looks scary back there.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a black light. Can you see the black light? That is black light. And the unfortunate thing is I have lights. They're kind of down a little, but I have to have them on me. Otherwise, I'm just going to be, a silhouette here. But then that would still look even better. Or maybe it's worth it. I don't know.
Yeah,
and it matches the tie. I just love this. What Wendy said is, you got this thing. You're so excited. You got a black light. You're like a kid. And she's saying, I did this in my early 20s. And I just said, well, this is what Mormonism will do to you.
Yeah.
I'm 65 and into black light. I think it's so cool.
Don't use it in the bedroom, the black light. Don't use it in someone else's bedroom. That's worse. Don't do that.
Okay, that's a joke like on Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah, black lights. You just don't want to know any information that comes from those. Anyway, connected to your thing there in the background, in 2 weeks, I don't know if this is our fourth annual Halloween extravaganza, but we've always done something usually for Mormonism Live, but this year Mormonism After Dark falls on Halloween, and I've ordered my costume. It's on the way. So it's going to be
you
here.
Ordered a costume?
Oh,
I was going to get some makeup.
You wait till you see my costume. I'm so all right. You will,
only because you insist.
Yeah. Well, and you have no other choice, really. So there's that. You're gonna just put some makeup on, huh?
Well, I was thinking so. Yes.
I
mean, if I'm in a tuxedo, what naturally suggests itself for Halloween?
Yeah, I'm interested to see this. I'm super excited.
My favorite line from that show.
Please.
Oh, let me think here. The children of the night, what music they make.
Na, 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 na.
Different movie, but that's okay. Bach.
All right. Well.
I actually listened to that this morning when I was taking a shower.
Some Bach.
That Bach. The Toccata and Fugue in D minor.
Not the I'll be Bach. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Later.
I'll be Bach. Get out of here. Get to the chopper. Get to the first presidency.
Well, here they are. Here's the first presidency. What do you want to say before we start this? I want to say something. I'm going to let you comment first.
Okay. This is only 20 minutes long. I've got it broken down into like 8 sound clips. We may not get through them all. If not, that's fine. Believe me. Because they're busy not saying a whole lot. This is a staged interview. Obviously, this is Pravda. You can tell. Okay. But there are still some things of interest that occur. And so I think the main thing overall that I was struck by is how, if you didn't know that these guys were the leaders of the Mormon church, you wouldn't know that they were leaders of the Mormon church, because they're not telling the audience. I know it's a first date. They're looking at this as an introduction. They want to make their best impression. So they want to hide what they really believe, at least on the first date, right? So what they are leading with their Christian foot. And by the time they're done, and in some places more than others, but there's multiple places where they're talking so much about Jesus, it's like, okay, so what do we need the Mormon church for? That they're talking about him exclusively as the source of salvation, right? That was the main thing. What were your thoughts?
So these guys get together to do this. And last time around, when President Nelson was made the prophet of the church in a process that doesn't require revelation, and we'll see that tonight too. But in that, he decided to go forward in front of the media. Now, by the way, Gordon B. Hinckley did a hell of a good job of media stuff, and Nelson's always tried to one-up him. So Nelson gave it his best shot. He's the prophet. He goes, I can do this just like Gordon B. Hinckley. I can sit up there and take questions and say brilliant answers. And when Peggy Fletcher Stack asks him a question, he has to be fed his lines from church headquarters to the point where we all caught him and Elder Oaks lip syncing the same song. And they've learned their lesson. This is all a ruse. The questions have been already selected. They are questions that they wanted to answer. These are the questions they wanted to be asked. This is all just an inside job. There's not a single person in this room who is from a journalistic entity who is designed here to ask a question to actually get an answer. So this is not really an interview. This is, as you said, a PR move, an introduction of the new leaders so that the rest of the world can take notice.
Right.
All right, you ready to play this?
So the first one is, I gave it a description along with the timestamp. Elder Eyring describes how God's power fell on President Oaks. So here's the thing that will happen from time to time with Henry. He said he'll get out over his skis a little bit and how he describes him seeing God move on this, that, and the other thing. He talked about seeing God move on President Nelson, and now he has apparently said earlier that he saw the power of God fall upon President Oaks when he became the prophet of the church, right? So this reporter is quoting him back to himself and saying, so what did that look like? And then it gets really fuzzy.
At the announcement of this new first presidency, you said that you have seen the power of God come upon President Oaks. Could you speak more about that? And in your initial conversations, what has it been like to counsel with this new prophet?
I watched him, and suddenly it was a different man. Suddenly it was clear that he was receiving a revelation of exactly what to do in a very extremely quick, short time. And I really had the feeling, this is not the same man I was with a day or two ago. It's another man. There was a kind of quiet, clear, knowing exactly what to do. And it was, to me, a spiritual experience.
So I could tell the Spirit fell upon him. The power of God fell on him because he looked different. I could tell by looking. It's like, what was it Potter Stewart said about the description of pornography? I can't describe it, but I can tell it when I see it.
I know it when I see it. Yeah,
I know it when I see it. Something like that.
Hmm? I found this interesting. I mean, he seems to be noting. My hunch is what he's talking about is the ending of temples right here, because he mentions Oaks handling something in a way that he could sense the man felt the Spirit, or what I would say is confidence in taking the church in a different direction.
Yes.
He seems to be pointing to the fact that Nelson had temples ready to go, and Oaks said, nope, revelation has come. Nope, we're not doing that. And the rest of the brethren, because they wanted that answer too, said, we agree. There's been revelation here. Let's move forward. No
Aaron Rasmussen. I'm still hearing myself.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Is there something I can do to?
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Aaron Rasmussen in the comment says it's a different man. It is a different man because he's with Dallas and not Dallin. This is like Lord of the Rings. He's like Gandalf. It's like Dallin the Gray became Dallas the White.
He just changed a little bit. Didn't change that much, really.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, anyway, I thought that was interesting. So here we got the next one, all queued up. This is Elder Christofferson kisses the ring. This is where it's really kind of unseemly. I have to turn away and blush a bit on his behalf. But he makes it clear where his allegiance lies and that he'll do anything to please his new boss.
President Christofferson, you said that this is not what you expected when you woke up the morning you were called. Can you describe your feelings in your first interactions with President Oaks?
It's profited me tremendously just to listen and respond to his example and his counsel. And I look forward very much to a closer association and to learning a great deal more. I don't know quite what the dynamic is, President, but I feel, and I think everyone else does, that in your presence with the gifts and intellect and so on that you have, a person, for whatever reason, doesn't feel diminished, but rather you inspire confidence, self-confidence in anyone you're with, and I appreciate that. I think that's a tremendous gift.
See what I mean about the suits? We'll see more of them in the future.
They're not that great.
No, Elder Christofferson looks fine. I'm not sure about the choice of tie with that suit, but I'll let that go. The other two, it's just the same kind of color. I think they bought their material at the same store as Elder Stevenson because they want to dress like a billionaire.
If they are different, they're not on the other side of the color wheel. That's for sure.
You know, every morning if I worked there, I'd see Gary and say, "Hey, Gary, you look like $1 million."
Yeah, he does look like $1 million, one way or another. This next one here is Elder. Oh, you got the kisses the ring. This next one here is.
Yeah, did you think he smooched that ring long enough and good enough?
He was definitely kissing ass.
He says, "I don't know what it is about you, but there's just something that makes me want to be close to you."
Yeah, but I'm used to it. I mean, Irene kissed ass when he got in. Now he's the first counselor, so he gets to show the new guy the ropes around here.
The reason they didn't call Bednar to be the second counselor is because in this interview he would have said, "I'm in charge."
He would have used this as a moment to teach representative agency and would have tried to convince the world that he is right. Dag nabbit. All those past prophet, seers, and revelators, screw them. I got a new idea and it's better.
He would teach President Oaks about representative mutiny.
Yeah, he would. He would not be a good soldier. He can't wait till he gets to be in charge.
Yes. Elder Bednar is Richard III.
In the modern moment. Those are the kind of people, RFM, you got to watch out for. Those are the ones that,
everybody knows that about Bednar too.
Stalin, Saddam Hussein,
There's some of them who are junior to him who do sit before he sits just to get a reaction, right?
Yeah.
I would do that.
Could you imagine if he was like a pope during this Inquisition?
It's like he was born too late. He missed his calling. He missed his epoch.
Either that or he has to go to Siberia, one or the other.
And that's where the swans are flying in from, by the way.
Those
Talk
swans.
about bringing it all the way around. Thank you very much. Hey, we got somebody down there, Bill. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Eric, how are you?
Hi, Eric.
Hello, RFM and Bill. How are y'all doing?
I'm fine. Eric the Red. Do people call you that?
No, the first time, but I hope they do now.
I like it. It's a tough guy name.
Oh, good. I think it means it's like named ruler or something, some kind of monarchical name or something like that.
Well, I think he was big in the Vikings.
Okay. Yeah, Leif Erikson, son of Eric. Yeah, good stuff.
They all hung out together.
Very good.
Uhtred of Bebenber.
You got me on that one.
That's a TV show, I think.
Okay.
Or something.
Did you watch a TV show about Vikings?
Yeah, I did.
Is that on Netflix?
I don't know because I didn't watch it. I've heard of it, so I think it was popular. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I've seen ads for it. They try to, push it on me, and I'm not against it, but I've got a youngin at home, and so I don't get to watch as much stuff as I used to.
That's right. You got more important things to do, like watching Mormonism After Dark.
Absolutely. Well, he's in bed, so we're fine. He's in bed.
Great.
So my assumption that that because you're redheaded that you watch lots of Viking TV shows was not entirely wrong. It's just a time.
Well, it's interesting. I don't usually. Might be this lighting. My hair is actually generally looking more blonde than it is now. So, but
Well, keep the treatments up. It'll get there.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully I just if I keep it at all at this point, that'll be a bonus.
We have jokes for that too, by the way.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, we have jokes for that too, by the way. Blonde. So
yes. Do you think it's strawberry blonde? Is that it? Maybe.
Probably. Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay.
I think so.
And maybe just that light, the way it's hitting your head, is what's making you look like.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, probably so. Not the most flattering lighting or anything, but it doesn't really matter how flattering it is. It's only going to do so much anyway.
You look marvelous. Let me tell you, Eric, marvelous.
I know I'm not in 4K like you are, FM, so I'll have to get your setup. I'm all completely not dressed up either. I'm totally underdressed for this.
You're a handsome man. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you guys.
Great.
Thank you.
It's on your mind,
from Caesar.
Yeah, I mostly just wanted to say hi to Colby if he's still here. He had a nice back and forth.
You're coming on our show to say hi to somebody else?
Yeah, that's that's how it goes, I guess. Well, he's my entire clout. See, I'm also he's my clout. I'm his personal clout shark now, because he's the only thing that gives me any credibility. What's up?
I feel used.
Oh, I can leave right away. Yeah, no, but I've been using your content for years, RFM, so this is nothing new to me.
What have you been using it for? The funny stuff to win friends and influence people?
Oh, no, not at all. Actually, I use it to alienate as many people as I possibly can. I figured that would be more in line with what you were hoping for. So
I want to bring unity and harmony to the world.
No, I know you do really good work.
I just go about it by trying to get everybody to run as far as they can from me, and then hope they end up in the same place together.
Okay, perfect, excellent. But no, yeah. So I said hi to Colby in the chat. I don't know if he's still in there, but I'm the one who had a back and forth with him on Reddit earlier about Jacob. I replied to Jacob on Twitter, basically just calling out his particular brand of bullshit. And this is After Dark. So I can say that. I'm regularly getting in his grill about stuff, and he responded to me, and he, I talked about the the fact that he refused to debate Colby or backed out, and and so I talked to him about that, and then he said that never happened, and so I provided the receipts to him, and then he
provided the receipts. You did all that work.
Well, it wasn't that hard. I just kind of Googled. I kind of just Googled for the Reddit thread. There's a Reddit thread of Colch's live chat where he agreed to it, and then tried to change the debate topic.
Oh, right. After it was already set and ready to go, then he says, "Oh, by the way,
I want to change it to something
We're going to
else.
debate whether transgenderism is real."
Yeah, which no one
even
knows what that
come
means.
from.
I don't know. He's just
it's what he did was he picked something that nobody's going to want to debate. Maybe there are people out there. I'm not one of them. Colby's not one of them.
I know.
I'll debate him about that. That's dumb. But in other words, you put it out there. You put a condition out there that the other side's not going to agree to, and then point the finger at them for being afraid to debate. That's the tactic. Unfortunately, he kind of threw that condition out after he'd sort of agreed to the debate.
Yeah, exactly. And he did the exact same thing with me back and forth on Twitter. He said, "Oh, I never actually agreed to that. I never agree. Because I guess on Ward Radio, he said I challenged Bill Reel and RFM or John DeLynn to do the debate."
Yeah.
And y'all said, and he was going to go on John Mormon Stories or talk to John until he attacked John's kids. And
yes,
so,
talk about cutting the branch off that he's sitting on.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, this is nothing new. I have at least a couple other people, 2 or 3 other people that he'll he'll say, hey, I want to debate this guy on some particular topic, and then they'll agree to it. And then he actually told somebody, I kid you not, he told someone on Twitter who said, hey, I'll debate, I'll do a live room on Twitter or something. And I'll debate you on, I think it was a Trinitarian debate. This was like an Orthodox Christian guy. He said, I'll debate you on the Trinity, because Jacob was putting that stuff out. He said, okay, great. And then Jacob said, oh, just kidding. I have a channel with like 500,000 subscribers that I want to go on to talk about that. So I'm not going to talk to you. And so it was just totally transparent.
I want to ask Jacob the questions that would determine whether his religious beliefs hold up or not. And I would like a space where it's safe to ask those questions, and he'll give his best effort at answering them honestly. And then when he's done answering it, he'll let me ask the next follow-up question. He'll tackle that too. But he told you by doing that, RFM, that he gave you guys a task that that you weren't going to be able to accept, because he was also given a task for a different motivation that he's unable to accept. It was the way to parry back and forth with you.
Yeah, Colby was going to debate him on Mormonism Live, and the offer's still out there. The challenge is still out there. The gauntlet has been thrown down. I refuse to debate him on general principle because I find Jacob Hansen execrable.
Yeah, he refuses to engage anybody who wants to take him on in a way that really engages the topic of Mormonism and whether it holds up and it's accurate. That should be a fair discussion. No one should have an allegiance to that. It's just an intellectual idea.
Well, except for the fact that obviously if you're Mormon, you do.
Right.
And a lot of times if you're an ex-Mormon, a lot of ex-Mormons do too.
Yep.
To be fair.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it for me is he'll talk to people about Mormonism. We know he talked to Alex O'Connor, and then Alex O'Connor did a great job, but that's just not, Mormonism isn't Alex O'Connor's focus.
No,
and
not at all.
I watch a lot of Catholic content, and he went on Pines with Aquinas to debate Trent Horn, who's a Catholic apologist who does really good work. He's a seasoned debater. And then Jacob goes on and basically tries to use a bunch of Trent's tactics, because Trent wrote a book called When Protestants Argue Like Atheists. And so Jacob came in and says, oh, Trent's going to argue like an atheist, trying to use Trent's Christianity against him, that sort of thing. So he pulled all these tricks. He pulled all these rhetorical tricks.
Are you
and
saying
when he brought up stuff,
Christianity or Trent? Are you saying Trent's Christianity?
Trent is a Catholic apologist. Just like, he's trying to use the fact that Trent is a Christian against him, saying that Trent is arguing like an atheist because Trent has argued that Protestants argue like atheists.
Christianity, and I didn't know what that was. And I thought,
Trent. Yeah, Trent Horn. My bad.
His Christianity. No, it's okay.
Yeah, and the debate was really tough to watch for me because Jacob would say things that just were flat out false about either Nahum or the plates or the witnesses or something like that, and he would just drill. Right, and it was that to an extreme, and he was just drilling Trent on, drilling Trent Horn about the witnesses to the resurrection of Jesus versus the witnesses to the plates and that sort of thing. And it was just ridiculous because, and Trent was unprepared. He wasn't familiar with the nuances of Mormonism. And what's funny is that I think it was the Psych Ward radio guys talked about it afterward. They had Jacob on for some kind of raw
victory lap.
Exactly. And they said, oh, you did such a great job. And what's funny, they said, Trent was using these out of date and, quote unquote, anti-Mormon arguments. And what's funny is because what Trent didn't know is that now Mormons are admitting things they didn't used to admit. And so he, because in the wild, they would claim a bunch of different things. But now the idea that there's multiple First Vision accounts and that the plates weren't used, the rock and the hat, they didn't used to admit that. And so Trent was maybe out of date on what Mormons are actually admitting now. And so he kind of just fell short in a way he doesn't normally do.
Oh, Trent. But, Alex, my understanding is, and this may be behind the scenes stuff, so I'll try and not be too specific, but to the degree that Alex knew stuff to come back with against Jacob about the fine points of Mormonism and treasure hunting and the rock and the hat, etc., he was certainly in contact with somebody in the post-Mormon community who was giving him the goods and, just making sure, just prepping him for the debate so he wasn't totally a babe in the woods.
Yeah, no, yeah, good for him. And I think afterward, he kind of made a nod to his talk with Jacob, because he made a joke about looking closely, I think, afterward.
Did he really?
I think so. I could be wrong about that. I do think that afterward he did some kind of 1.25 million Q&A on his YouTube channel, and someone brought up Mormonism, and he said something, said, I'll have to look closely about it. And so I think that might have been a nod.
That'd be very funny if it were.
Yeah, if I can find that, that'd be great. I don't want to say that it definitely happened, but I thought he did, whether it was on his live stream or somewhere else. But I watch Alex as well. I like his stuff. He has good interviews and everything. So yeah, this is kind of a deep cut, but I feel like it's probably not the healthiest habit, but I get a kick out of, being a thorn in Jacob's side online, because he's always pulling this crap. Like, he's always tweeting out ridiculous things, and most people just sing his praises in his comments. So I like to be a thorn in his side if I can. But
do people over there not recognize? I'm sorry, Eric. Do people over there, by over there I mean on the dark side, with his podcast, his followers, do they not realize that he is chicken to debate the Book of Mormon?
I don't know. I think in this instance they were getting caught up on the fact as to whether he actually agreed to it in the first place.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying to Colby, and he understands it. Is that what he wants to do? It's always diversion. So I'm going to have a diversion here, and we're going to argue about whether I agreed to do it instead of just doing it.
Correct.
And the fact is, he's chicken to do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be having this argument over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can see how this works, though. When you watch the Alex O'Connor conversation, if you watch Jacob, you'll notice he has two monitors open. You can tell by his body language. And so he is engaging the interviewer, right? He's engaging O'Connor. And then as O'Connor is talking about something, he has a list over here where he has multiple topics picked out, and he's trying to figure out what would be the easiest connection to make from this to one of the things I want to cover. And you watch him, he spends enough time over here at the right moments. You can tell that he is manipulating the interview to go off into the directions he wants, rather than to answer the questions that are being asked. And if you pay attention to his answers, they're not addressing the question. They play on some little piece of it so the audience doesn't miss a beat, but then he just takes them down a different path of something else he wanted to share. And to me, the moment you know that he is just a conniving little pissant who just will say and do whatever, and he'll intentionally deceive his audience in order to make his point. Something I've never done, something RFM I've never seen do. This guy has something in him that will just get joy out of wringing his hands against the ex-Mormons, even if he has to portray the church falsely.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what Jim Bennett talked about as well when they tried to talk. He said you can't have a conversation with Jacob Hansen. It's always something to win. There's always something to try to get from it.
Crap. He's always trying to lure you into one of his little famous 5-dimensional 5 points of fellowship. What is his thing? 5 theory?
The collective witness model, which is just
but there's 5 in it. I was thinking 5 was in it's the collective witness model.
The collective witness model. And by the way, you can use the collective witness model to disprove his collective witness model. Yeah, by the way, it's very easy.
Much work.
Yeah, it's not much work. And so he does this thing where the revelation is, and what's funny, and I think you guys have talked about this, but somebody was asking him, and I think it was on a very friendly panel and I've watched a little too much Psych Ward radio. I have this thing about hate listening. I don't know. Sometimes I just need to, if I run out of my good content, I need to
start a hate watch channel.
No, I don't have the commitment for that, or the skill, or the humor that Colch had. But I was watching it, and somebody asked him, I can't remember how it came up, but somebody said it was either his cousin or one of the other guys said, do you think that that's a flaw in the collective witness model? Something came up and said, do you think you just found a flaw in the collective witness model? And he goes, well, no, because the collective witness model is how we know what's doctrine and what's real. And my question is, since when? The church doesn't teach a collective witness model. It's just his selective
this thing, and it's model it like it came down the mountain with Moses.
Yeah.
Right.
He came up with this yesterday.
Yeah.
Once you realize he invented this, because doing it the other way, it didn't work. He came up with the other answer. And so you have to come up with your own brand new, absurd, illogical theory, because you didn't like the answer you got when you applied logic and reason. And so you invented something so you could stay in your delusion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what's funny about it too is there has never been an instance ever where the church has ever taught anything like that. And it's, but you're our rando, Colby. You're our rando. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Well, you're RFM and Bill's rando.
Is there any message you'd like to give directly to Colby now?
No, I mean, yes and no. I just want to tell Colby he's doing great. Nothing new, but nothing that he doesn't know. But he's doing an excellent job, and he does a lot of really good work. I see him on Reddit sometimes, does good work there. His episodes with RFM, no offense, but it's become my new favorite series that you do. You're regular. If I see a responser with Colby in it, I'll watch. I'm a simple man. If Colby's there, I'll click.
So you find his argumentation simple.
Well, I mean, simple in an intelligent. He's very, very good at taking very complex items and complex ideas and making them sound very simple.
He set you up there to fail either way. Do not get caught in the shame cycle.
No, it's okay.
He did that.
It's okay.
I don't do it to shame you. I do it to entertain me.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what all this is
That's
about. We're just here this is all for RFM's entertainment, and that's what makes it great.
No matter what answer you gave on that question, he was going to laugh at you.
Oh, I know. And that's the genius of it.
I don't know that that's true. What if his answer was blue? That's what I would have said.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But,
Well, thank you very much, Eric. Great.
you're welcome. I won't take up too much. I'll let you go, but thanks a lot for letting me join. It's a bit surreal, but I'm a very regular watcher, and thank you so much for having me on, and I look forward to the next one.
Call in
Thanks,
again.
guys.
Thanks, Eric. See you later. I can't believe nobody's ever called him Eric the Red before.
That was a great.
He needs to hang around more creative, intelligent people. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the case. Talk about intelligent people. Whoop, let me put this one up. That's the wrong one.
Oh my gosh, we'll get this off.
There you go.
Right. Dallas Oaks. There is a Dallas Oaks, apparently. Or maybe it's a farm where they raise oaks, but it's pictures of goats. Anyway, can you tell us what's going on here? Because I feel like this is a t-shirt that actually I got off the internet since I asked you. Would you go ahead and answer for me? Go ahead and tell us what's going on here.
This is an image that RFM got off the internet.
Thank
RFM,
you.
would you please explain?
Because I was looking for Dallas Oaks, right? And I found this is the actual image. There's a Dallas Oaks farm, and it's actually made to order because you can see the 3 goats on the right are on their feet. That's the first presidency. The one on the left that's upside down is Gary Stevenson. After making that blunder heard around the world.
Yeah, that happened, everybody. There's that. And then, so there's that. This next one you've got is called Mormons on the Margins.
Mormons on the margins. So what are you going to do with those Mormons out there who don't really think they fit in your, it'll come to me, in your church? And they feel like they're not noticed, or they don't fit in, or they're not wanted, and all this stuff, right? What she's hinting at is obvious. But the responses, by the way, all 3 are given a chance to respond to these later questions. So if you can put it at 1.5, that would be great. They'll sound like they're really sharp for 93 in their responses. But they're going to ask Mormons on the Margins, what do you do? And what they're going to say is they're going to act like, well, geez, they can come back anytime they want. We'd love them to come back. It's like there's a total disconnect to why it is that a lot of the members of the church are not going to church, have stopped going to church, or maybe have left the church. And that it has something to do with the way these guys are running the church. That's the disconnect. I don't see any acknowledgement of that from any of the 3 of them.
President Oaks, as the new president of the church, you said our ministry is a ministry of all the children of God.
Can you
We pray for all. We seek to serve all. For those who are watching right now who may be struggling with questions of faith or worth, they feel on the margins, or they don't always see themselves in the body of the church. As the new president of the church, what do you want them to know about how the Savior feels about them and how you feel about them?
I think it begins with realizing that we are all children of God, and that God loves them, and He has a plan for them wherever they are on the pathway toward that divine destiny.
President Eyring, would you respond to the same question?
Yes, I would. I'm always touched in the scriptures when the Lord himself speaks and says, my arms are always outstretched to you. And he says it at times when people are having difficulty or feeling estranged. And so I think my suggestion is that when a person anyone feels that they're on the margin, they can't get far enough away from the Savior, that he would ever not be reaching to them. So my encouragement to them is just pray, and you'll have a feeling of being back from the margin and included.
And trust in the Lord.
Trust.
He's your heavenly Father and he loves you.
Yeah.
So everyone ought to feel like they belong, that they have a role. And I would simply say, put your hand to the plow, take part, join in service. Don't wait always to be invited off the sideline, but come forward and contribute what you can to the body of Christ. Everyone is valuable. Every contribution is valuable. I recognize that these rising generations, as we call them, the millennials, the Gen Z, and so forth, live in a world that's very different than the world has ever been. They deal with issues and challenges and opportunities that I don't think we've ever seen, at least not to this degree. And if they turn to the Lord, as the President said, Jesus Christ is always the answer. He's been the answer from the beginning. And they will find in him the source or resource and resolution of their unique issues, just as every other generation has.
Okay, notice that last one, right? Especially that last one from Elder D. Todd Christofferson. Where was the church in any of that? Nowhere to be found. I mean, they're sitting in the church office building, but other than that, all he's saying is turn to God, trust God. Jesus is always the answer. Turn to him, and that's what you need to do.
Say you're sorry for hurting everyone intentionally and stop hurting people intentionally.
These guys act like they've got nothing to apologize for, nothing to repent of, nothing to be sorry for. Like their depends don't stink is how they act. And just saying, oh, these people out there, D. Todd didn't do any better than anybody else. Actually, he did worse. He said, you need to come back without us asking you to come back. Just come back, contribute whatever you can. We'll take it. Okay. It'll be great. And that's all it is. Just come back as if I already said it. If I want to do this at the end, I will, but I'll just bring it around and say, without any recognition that what you have done is what's causing so many people to leave the church. That was the main beef I had with Elder Uchtdorf when he gave his talk about coming back to church. And that was the 2013 Doubts or Doubts talk, I think, too. Because at the end, he invites everybody to come back to church without any recognition of why it is that they left in the first place. It's like, why would anybody want to return to a place that they left when that place hasn't changed the thing or things that made them leave in the first place?
Yeah, if people respond that they feel fucked up by the religion and its leaders, and we can point to absolute moments where they are being deceptive and dishonest and lying, then it would seem like it's appropriate to acknowledge, if you really want to help people on the margins, you would address their concerns in just a reasonable way. A way that looks like people are being accountable and trying to deal with what they've done to others. These men have hurt people. Christofferson may be the softest of them all. Of course, Irene cries at everything. But Oakes has just, you pointed it out a couple of weeks ago in a Mormonism Live episode with the top 10, which ended up being, I think, 23 or 24 when it was all said and done, by the time the callers called in and everybody gave an example. But you showed that this guy plays a game and does these things that hurt people. Mm-hmm. And seems just not to care that he runs people over. Anyway, the next one here is role of women in the church. If that one, I thought this was one of the more interesting ones.
Okay, great. So once again, if you can do the 1.5, because really it's a drag watching it. Otherwise,
yeah. Here we go.
I'd also like to ask you about women in the church. Some in the media have suggested that the church presents impossibly high standards for women, and that the church does not give space for women to lead. What do you want people to understand about the role of women in the church today?
I say, remember You have a Heavenly Father who loves you, who has created you to return to live with heavenly parents, to enjoy the choicest blessings that God has for his daughters, but it doesn't always come at once. We have work left to do, but we are a lot better off than we were even a decade ago. I think we should also say that we have not always been wise in using the great qualifications and powers of the daughters of God.
I think I need to be personal again. My wife died 2 years ago, yesterday. And I thought I miss her for a lot of reasons, but mostly I wish she were here when I come into this position that I'm in now, because she had a sense of what mattered that was just remarkable.
There's a line in our handbook that says, speaking about ward councils and counseling together, that women and men sometimes have different perspectives on things. And I thought to myself, do we need a handbook to tell us that? I think that's obvious. But what that says is we bring both perspectives together, we get a better perspective. We get a closer to the divine perspective.
You see, this was so much blather. The question is asking for one thing, but not being followed up on, not being narrowly crafted in such a way as to make it obvious that they're not answering the question, right? These guys are not leaders. They act like they're observers. Like they're sitting on the street corner watching the church go by and saying, oh, this is what that, look at that, and look at that. And it's wonderful for the women and all of this stuff. And President Eyring, I think he's pretty crafty, because what he did with his little personal story about his wife dying 2 years ago, the day before, was he avoided answering the question because he played the sympathy card and then used her memory of saying how he misses her because she realized how important what it is that he's doing is, as if he hasn't been in the first presidency since God was a kid. You know, that was kind of a cynical use of his wife's memory. So
to get the audience to go, oh,
yeah,
and that awe distracted all of you enough that you moved on with him, going, isn't that sweet? And then listen to the next speaker begin to talk, and you didn't realize he didn't even answer the question.
No, none of them did.
Mm-mm.
None of them did. It's like, why are you even having this? It's like, I will ask questions about actual issues in the church, and you'll give me no answer, and there's no follow-up. Of course, who's going to follow up? She's obviously a Mormon. She's probably with the Deseret News or something. Does anybody recognize her? Did you, Bill?
No, I just know that this is not a journal, a journalist. This is not something in the media. This is something inside the church. Yeah.
A journalist, a non-Mormon journalist does not say, what does Jesus want to know? What does Jesus want us to know, and what do you want us to know, or something like that, right? Because I'm asking you because you can tell us what Jesus wants, because
it's all crafted.
Yeah.
And I'll just note too to the audience, I don't know this. I mean, I mentioned this to you guys. It could be hearing aids. Absolutely. I don't have any. I recognize that these two of these men especially are much older, and my hearing isn't the best at my age. But I will just note that Oakes and Eyring, behind their left ears, is a little wire that is barely noticeable. You have to zoom in. It could be a hearing aid. They would have the same health plan. You pointed this out earlier, RFM. They would have the same health plan. Hence, they might have the same hearing aids. But I will note that the last time a prophet was new as the president, prophet, seer, revelator of the LDS Church, he was fed lines through an earpiece. We knew that because Elder Oaks lip synced it. And so just to note that the two of them have a wire behind their ear. Christofferson, I could see a little bit of his right ear at certain moments, and I could see his left ear cleanly, and I didn't see one on him if that was the case. So maybe they're hearing aids. But,
okay. By the way, one thing of significance that Elder Oaks did say, what it means, you tell me. But he's the new president of the church, and what he said was, at the end of his comments, he said, I think we have not always been wise in using the power and qualifications of the sisters.
That it was a wake-up call for the church to realize that maybe they were limiting themselves in how they utilized women.
I think he's got some ideas. Now, they're probably going to be continued baby steps down the street, but I think he's got some ideas that he wants to implement to allow women to do a little bit more in the church, whether that means they can actually pass the sacrament. You know, you can't bless it and you can't break it. Maybe they could break it. Maybe they could bake it and then break it. But, you know, they're just trying to do little things so that the young women can feel, you know, like they have something to do, like they're important to the church.
Yeah, you have to at least feel like you might be important. These guys, it'll be interesting to see if you were in the top 15, if you just got called to be an apostle, and you figure out there's a game here being played to whatever extent it is, but you figure out there's games being played. Do you save your best ideas in your pocket, hoping you outlive all of them? Or do you share your best ideas freely so that someone else in the room can benefit from the concept being suggested?
What I do is I write a crazy ass book and have it published by Bookcraft, knowing full well I'm going to get hauled into the president's office and have him dress me down and maybe give me a couple of whacks on the behind. But then I'll walk out and it'll be okay. That book will be a bestseller.
That $1 million loan you took with them,
Mhm.
that is interest-free.
Mhm.
You'd have to pay that back.
Oh, I'd pay that back out of the massive amount that I got from that book.
Yeah, there's a lot of non-Mormons are going to buy that book too. That's going to be a good
Oh,
sell.
yeah. It'd be huge.
Huge.
It would be huge because Apostle Radio Free Mormon is going to tell you the real dope on the Mormon church. And people would be buying that everywhere.
Yeah.
It could be the same old stuff. It's the Apostle Radio Free Mormon that will sell it.
Yeah. I'm going to go through Benchmark books. That's who I would work through. But you would use Bookcraft. I find that interesting.
Well, you know the reference, right?
I do not know the reference.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
A lot of good books have come out of Bookcraft.
I'm sorry, I was talking about Mormon doctrine.
Oh,
That whole thing was a Mormon doctrine thing.
Bruce R. McConkie.
Yes. Pretty sure it was published by Bookcraft.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Because it wasn't published by Deseret.
No, you can't. You don't get to just put your ideas out there without someone else having some awareness that maybe you might be putting ideas out there that no one likes.
Yes. One doesn't just walk into Mordor.
No, one does not. Oh, goodness. This next one you've got is called Families in the
We're
Church.
having way too much fun tonight, I think.
By the way, folks, if you do want to join the show, I put the link in the chat several times. But here it is again. We'd love for you to come on. We'd love for you to jump in and share some thoughts, have some questions, and to let us know what you're thinking about.
Families in the church, and even at 1.5. Now, here's something interesting that happens is we get nothing of interest, I think, from Oaks and Eyring. But then D. Todd comes in there and he does a thing to President Oaks like President Oaks did to President Nelson. He'll pretend he's agreeing with him while actually changing his answer and broadening it to include really non-traditional families. That's what I think he's doing. Of course, D. Todd Christofferson is brother of his brother's gay. That's Tom Christofferson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And openly gay. And, you know, it's been, a big deal from time to time in the LDS church. But that's his relationship. And so it's interesting that he's the one who answers in this way. He's the last one, of course.
We've already had Elder Oaks comment on what he would do with his gay kids and gay loved ones. So we might as well get an answer from somebody else.
Yes.
All right, here it is.
What advice do you have for families today as the new prophet?
The first thing that comes to mind with that good question is what I tried to teach in my talk in General Conference just concluded.
Is this 1.5, Bill?
Tried to persuade
You're killing
that
us.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints outlines the destiny of the children of God, and that destiny culminates in an eternal family, a father in heaven, and also a mother in heaven, though we haven't been given very much information about her for reasons that God understands and we don't. But the point is, the whole purpose of mortal life is to prepare us for a heavenly destiny in a family organization. And we are blessed when we take those as a given, as we said in the family proclamation, not when we try to rewrite God's plan, but when we try to find where we fit within it and how we can magnify it.
Just a line in the proclamation titled "The Family" that you mentioned, President, says something like, happiness in family life is most likely when founded on the teachings of Jesus Christ: faith, prayer, repentance, forgiveness, respect, and love, and so on. And that is true of family life, but it's true of any life, I think. It's true for every individual, whatever circumstance they're in, whether they're a family of one or a dozen. It doesn't matter. Those principles can be applied by anyone in any moment, and it is the path to happiness.
What are you saying there exactly, Elder D. Todd Christofferson? It sounds like you speak treason fluently. Yeah.
I was too busy looking at that comment where someone said Elder Oaks has great hair. I thought that was.
Did someone say Elder Oaks? I just saw he has great hair. I thought that was Cray. I thought they were talking about me.
Oh.
Cray was talking. Thank you. See? Did you get Elder Oaks out of that? That's funny. Because that's what I thought first. I thought maybe Elder Christofferson, because he's got great hair.
He does have great hair. These guys are always trying to say something, not what you want, but to say it in a way that they can get away with saying it. And it just always feels like funny business where you really end up getting a non-answer that it's only set to sort of irritate you.
Right. What he's trying to do is signal that he's not as geriatric as these two fossils to his right for all the good it does anybody. But I don't know. I mean, he's saying, I'm here. I'm present and accounted for. I'm in the top leadership, and someday this could be me.
You called it, by the way, right? You said this was going to be the guy.
I did. I said D. Todd would be the guy. Now, the first one I had said was Elder Bednar. And then I gave that some thought. And on the next show that we had that was live, we have them periodically so I can make multiple predictions. I said, no, what am I thinking? If I'm President Oaks, the last person I'm going to want in the first presidency that I have to meet with all the time is Elder Bednar. No way. He's at the bottom of the list. And then I thought, law.
Yeah.
Law binds people in a way that's hard to describe. We hate each other. We love each other. We have an affinity for each other. We're trained in certain ways to see the world in a similar way. And so I thought D. Todd Christofferson as the lawyer that came to mind would be his pick.
I think you nailed it. I mean, when you said at first Bednar, and then you thought it through and you were like, no, just because Elder Oaks is an asshole doesn't mean he wants to work with an asshole. So you end up leaving the guy out, of course.
Assholes don't like assholes any more than anybody else.
No, they don't. And talking about assholes, Trevor Lawson, how are you?
What are you saying? Did you say that?
It's called a segue. I'm just teasing. I'm not being serious. It's how you
Trevor Larson, you know, in that light, you look like Carrie Shirt's bastard son. You know,
I'll take it. He's a good looking guy. I'll take that.
He is. Yeah, is actually. So that's a great beard.
Thanks. I try real hard doing nothing.
Out?
Definitely not.
Okay, because you seemed out of breath. I don't know.
Looks
like you have your workout clothes on.
No, I don't work out. That's why I'm out of breath. Wondering, kind of a thought experiment. Like, what would you guys do if you went full Don Bradley and decided all you want was money from your Mormon knowledge and just wanted to cash in? I assume that would be you'd go TBM and do like the whole Chad Daybell, like I had a vision. But I was just curious if you guys have ever thought about this. What would you do if you lost all integrity and wanted to cash in?
You know, it's funny you asked that. You want to answer that, Bill?
Well, I want to say just first,
Mr. Integrity.
Don Bradley, I think, has lost money doing scholarship for Mormonism. I don't,
Really?
I think he's gotten paid by Brian Hale's research for sure, but I don't think he was
Not
making
much.
a fortune off of that. I think he has sacrificed a lot of income potential in order to research Mormonism. So I love your question, by the way. I think your question is fair and a great question. He's just not the example I would have used because I want to give Don credit for putting Mormonism and scholarship out. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And Trevor, Geoplanet Jane says, you're cute.
Well, I am single, believe it or not.
Here we go. The dating game.
Matchmakers of the stars. Look at you and me.
It's funny you say that because that thought crossed my mind within the past month. But it's the only time it's ever crossed my mind, and I don't know why. But and then I thought about it for briefly, but it's just like, you know, the question then is how much money would it take, right? What is that dollar amount that would be worth it for me to flush all my integrity down the toilet, excuse me, and my morals, and just pretend, just live a lie. I kind of got tired of that, and that's why I left Mormonism, was the whole living the lie part. But there was no number. There was no number I could come up with that was high enough for me to do that. And I don't know that that's what, you know, Don Bradley's doing. I don't know what he's doing, honestly. I wish him well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's me. What's your number, Trevor? What would your number be?
Not necessarily number. I mean, just like what strategy would you go with? Like, would you go Chad Dabo? Like, I had a vision, and this vision told me that Dallas Oaks is the prophet, and you know, like, what angle would you take? Because obviously you can't find a fact that proves it's true, because it isn't true. So I think you could only go with you had a vision and Jesus told you to say that it's all true.
I think, you know what I would do? I would secretly, without telling anybody, I would model my reformation on that of Corey Hoare. And I would say that I knew it was a devil. I knew it was a devil, but I went on anyway. It doesn't make any sense, but Mormons have to believe it because it's in the Book of Mormon. Yeah, I was deceived by a devil appearing as an angel, except I've never really talked about that much. I think I'd have to make it, intellectual. I know this guy who left the church. His name is, what does he call himself now? Dusty Smith. I was friends with him back in college. You know him?
You've talked about him. Dusty
okay.
Rhodes. I think you called it or something. You've had an episode about him.
Dusty Rhodes is the professional.
And so and what he's done is he's gone from he was a Mormon, then he became a bitter, angry anti-Mormon, and now he's come back to the church. And what he's done, because he left the church for specific reasons, he knows all the issues, or at least, you know, enough to sink a boat. But he came back, and now he goes around and he tells his story, and his story has nothing to do with any of the issues that caused him to leave. He says that he would have the series of dreams, and in his dreams, like a being came to him and answered each and every one of his questions, but he never says what those answers are. I've never heard him. I've heard him say that. What he does is he tells a story. He's got a bunch of stories. In response to every question, he says, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you another story. Pretty soon you're going to say, you're saying, don't tell me any more stories.
Just like Jesus.
It's all
Jesus said the same.
Yeah, it's all the coincidence. Yeah. They weren't that great either. It's all the coincidences. You know what I'm talking about with Dusty, right? All the coincidences that happen.
Oh, yeah.
And coincidence this and coincidence that. And finally, he ends up saying this is more than coincidence. So I'm going to become a Mormon again.
By not going back to the questions, you're sort of acknowledging that the questions don't have good answers. You You had to come up with some other narrative that you got some sort of spiritual experience, and the questions then don't matter, do they? If you're determined that your spiritual experience trumps anything that seems to be inaccurate or untrue, then that's the answer you'll always get.
Well, I mean, Bill,
Oh,
what
yeah.
would you do? And I'll ask you too, Trevor. Instead of this series of coincidences, which he thinks is insurmountable evidence of God moving in his life, okay, they're obviously being told with that idea in mind, so they're being skewed that way. So I always wonder, you know, how much of this is what really happened versus how you're spinning it. But once you've got that, if an angel did appear to you, shook your hand, whatever it is you wanted, okay, to verify, and then told you something, or told you Mormonism is the true religion. I know these guys have cocked it up left, right, and sideways forever, but it's the only church with my priesthood in it, and I need you to go back in there, and I need you to keep swinging for the home team and try and make a difference and just help people out. That's all I want you to do. Would you do it?
Oh, that's a hard one.
No.
I don't think so. Just because I don't trust my own brain. Like, I wouldn't trust my own brain that I was correct. Because I've done enough drugs to know that brains could be manipulated, that what comes to my brain is no relation to the truth necessarily. So it would need to be something more than just a vision for me.
You were talking about coincidence. I just want to mention this in passing. You and I had a show Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday about Zara Himla.
Yep, Zara Himla. And that Zara is like Hebrew and Kemla is Arabic, and they do mean radiant compassion. So I went into ChatGPT and I asked it how it would look at that as evidence of Mormonism being true. And it said that this is really weak, that you could find examples all over the place that would accomplish very similar things. And I said, okay, well, come up with 100. And it did. It came up with 100 in 2 seconds. But this was the first 12 of those. Zerah Hemla, and it talks about that. But then Nephi, Ne, Sumerian, Phi, Greek, Moroni, Spanish, and Japanese, Camorra, Japanese, and Egyptian. And some of them still are Hebrew and Arabic, or something else over there in the Middle East that a Mormon would see as evidence. And it could just come up with really quick, taking any word, splitting it in half, finding it in separate cultures, and making a new meaning out of it that would sound very spiritual. They're all over the place. It's an easy thing to come across. So I only share that to say that for Reuben, that was the gentleman's name. And I really did appreciate the call, and no pushback. I just always want to present things reasonably to the audience. And I just want the audience to know this was a really easy thing to do, and one shouldn't give weight to it because of that.
Well, you got things like Chinese in there and Japanese. That's just silly. Combining that with Hebrew and Greek.
Yeah. But the point is, you can take it. All you need, it's not like you need Zerah Hemla to be a hit. You just need something in the Book of Mormon to be a hit. And so now every word that's a proper noun, a proper name in the Book of Mormon, whatever culture you want to pretend it needs to go back to, and let's take Japanese and India. We could find one proper name in the Book of Mormon that could be split in half, sent to those two countries, and a divine meaning could be made up. And so,
and what is radiant compassion anyway? I don't even know what that means. Compassion is not known for transmitting light.
Yeah. There you go.
Because really, I mean, if you want it sounds poetic, but it's just two words stuck together, I think.
It is. It's two joyous words. It's two spiritual words stuck together.
Sounds nice.
In spiritual communication, but there's millions of those. Anything can be done that could make that into that. So it's just not a big deal.
So Trevor,
well,
what
they
brings
thought
you
that God
around
was like the sun or whatever.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What about the sun?
Just add just how they thought God was the sun, radiating because God was on his throne and all that jazz.
Oh yeah.
Something about Joe Smith talked about that.
Shiny
so I think
hot.
that has the radiant, but yeah, just had this idea, this thought experiment in my head for a while. I wanted to run it past you guys.
Yeah, my answer is there's not enough money in the world, but then again, I'm not starving.
Yeah.
If I were starving and homeless, like next, year, come and ask me then. I don't know if the answer would change. I would like to think it wouldn't, but people come and go so quickly around here. What happened to Trevor, Bill? Can you see him?
I
Oh,
don't see.
sorry. I came back.
Oh,
Well, you're there,
I thought I
but
made you disappear.
Sorry.
It's like
internet
Ophelia. I
sometimes.
think it's Ophelia says in Hamlet, we know who we are, but not who we will be.
well, I'm gonna send you away, Trevor. Appreciate the phone call. I'll
Yeah.
answer it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. See you later. Have a good weekend.
Like you said, I mean, there are situations I could imagine where I would, knowing what I know, like the inkling of me at the very beginning of my faith deconstruction, realizing that something wasn't right here. I wish somebody in the 12 or the 15 would keep a good set of records of things, just stories, just so we know how things happen, and then have it sort of secretly set to release when they die through something that the church can't get their hands on. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But for whatever reason, nobody breaks ranks in this group. Not since Richard Lyman or Albert Carrington. Nobody breaks ranks in this group anymore.
They have good control.
They do.
They know where the families live and the kids go to school. That's why they get the free tuition to BYU.
Yeah, they know, as somebody in Mormonism once said, they know which side their bread is buttered on. Yeah. This next one you've got, now we're at 926, so we'll make this the last one. But this one's on church growth. What do you want to say about this one?
Yeah, she asks about the growth of the church and why do you think it's so amazing? Why do you think the church is growing so much? And all three of these guys know that's a huge lie. The church is not growing. It's all smoke and mirrors. So we all know this. And yet she's going to run with these made up statistics as if they're real and ask them, well, why do you think it's happening? What's growing so much? And they give a bunch of what they should have answered. Okay, I'll give the answer when she asks the question. Okay, what Elder Oak should have said if he were being honest. She says, what's driving this growth in numbers? He should have said, we're cooking the books. That would have been the honest response.
Do you think, and you said it there with that answer, but do you think that the top leaders of the church intentionally portray the numbers of the church as growth when in fact they are not?
That is a bit of a difficult question. I did say they all know. I think they do. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
We all know back when we were home teachers, and you're supposed to do 100% home teaching every month. I mean, it goes back to your mission, for crying out loud. You got these dumb reports you've got to make to the person above you, the district leader, the zone leader, the AP, that's the assistant to the president, some missions there, MAs, mission assistants. And then there's the president, right? And everybody wants better numbers, and we want to have better numbers, better than what we actually got. Because it's embarrassing, okay? And there's this pressure. So at every level, greater numbers are being reported than are actually what happened. Just home teaching, okay? So that goes up through what? The elders quorum, bishop, stake president, and everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's upping the numbers to make them look better than they really are. And then they go all the way up. And by the time they get to these guys, I think they think that, there's 100% home teaching throughout the church, and we're baptizing continents full of people every week.
These guys, the system tells you to, the system works by everybody lying about how well it's doing.
Yes. That's how you become an apostle, by the way.
Oh, no. There's 100 moments in my time in the church where I don't know how, but somehow that messaging was in front of me.
And that is why Mormonism makes
liars of us all.
In so many ways.
So why wouldn't we expect by the time you get to the top that these people also lie about the numbers?
Yep. So maybe they're in the dark. Maybe they're a victim of their own organization and they think it's doing much better than it is because everybody's lying at every level to make it look better than it is. I don't know.
And the people who lie about the numbers, I mean, those are the people who looking good in the calling's important. Those are the people that tend to move up in various places in life in general, but in the church for sure. And they might be doing the very thing. Yeah, that's such a strange observation, but really interesting.
On the other hand, they know they're building temples for nowhere. It's a bridge to nowhere. It's temples to nowhere, that they can't staff them. They can't get people in them. And maybe once again, that was, President Nelson's issue. And maybe they're going to withdraw from that. I think obviously they're going to withdraw from that because that was just crazy. So, but they know that they're combining wards. They know they're taking stakes, combining stakes, lowering the number of wards in a stake, lowering the number of active members in a ward, doing absolutely everything they can. And the first presidency is required to realign stakes and wards. They got to know, unless it's willful ignorance.
So here's what they have to say about that.
I'd like to ask you about the global church. I have seen demographic trends that show a growing number of people identifying as religiously unaffiliated, a general weakening of religious identity. And yet the growth statistics in the church are at historically high levels. In the first 6 months of this year, the church has seen a 17% increase in conversions in North America, even higher globally. There have been 900,000 new converts in the last 3 years. What is driving this?
The difference between the performance of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints members and the world trends you describe is the restored gospel of Jesus Christ, because it's a gospel of happiness and growth and information about the purpose of life. And people who subscribe to its doctrine find that it makes their life more happy, more significant, more resistant to the difficulties we all experience in mortal life, and more able to serve their fellow man and to raise their children.
I see the Lord moving across the earth and his spirit influencing people in their lives. And President Nelson used to speak often about the gathering of Israel, the gathering of a covenant people. And I believe that's what we're seeing. The Lord is bringing things to pass. We're able to help, maybe on the fringes, but he is moving in his power. And I notice wherever I go that there's an increasing diversity, it seems like, in the church, that there's movement of people.
I'll venture a prophecy. The growth of the church will accelerate. When they find the gospel of Jesus Christ presented by missionaries, they see hope.
Mark that, by the way.
Yeah.
We've got a prophecy by President Eyring. He thinks it's a sure thing because he believes this. These cooked books. He's buying into the cooked books.
I guess it's possible, right? I guess it's possible that in spite of the internet, in spite of the critics explaining the problem clearly, in spite of the gospel topic essays, in spite of the Saints book or whatever other things the church has done, maybe it's growing, maybe. And some people on the apologetic side would say that we want so bad for its demise that we would, in an absurd way, try to defend that it must be shrinking when in fact the data says it's growing. Maybe it's growing.
Data claims are not data in my mind, but go ahead.
But we can clear that all up if the church would just release the data. It's the one that keeps us all from knowing for sure. It's not me. I want it to be out there. I want the data. And I think, why would organizations keep you from having the data? And it's because they would want to reserve the right to present the data the way they want to. And this is an institution that's always wanted to present every facet of itself the way it wants to. So why would I trust it with these numbers over any other data point?
Yeah. When you're talking about percentages, once you get your percentage of growth rate so close to zero, even if it goes up 17%, it's not a big deal. Okay? Because we're talking about such a small number. And I'm taking this at face value for the sake of argument, and just for the sake of argument. The 300,000 a year, forget about it. That's not happening. They say 300,000 convert baptisms over the past 3 years. They say 900,000 for 3 years. That's 300,000 for each year. How did they do that with an estimated 4 million max who are active members of the church? I'm sorry, Bill, are you speaking?
Sorry, Arkham. Yeah, it is an interesting game that gets played. And then because we don't have the data, and because we go off the next best thing, because what data is out there is outside of the church, it's not firsthand information. It's taking a multitude of other things being said and shown in the church and deriving from that what can be figured out. We're doing the best we can with the data. If they would like the data cleared up, if they disagree with that, you'd think they would want us to actually have the data. They'd want us to see the growth.
They want us to believe the growth.
Yeah, they want us to believe the growth. Amen.
Now, what's going on with Bill Law? We got to get Bill Law on here and then sign off. Hey,
All right,
Bill,
Bill,
you
you're
were on here before, and now it's a blank box. Did you sign off, and are you coming back?
It didn't work. Check your camera, check your sound before you came on. Hey, while we're waiting for him to jump in, there is this one thing that's really fast. Do you mind if we play one more sound bite? Because I think this was telling. I mentioned this to you either yesterday or this morning. It is where they give the game away. She asked a question about what Dallin Oaks felt immediately following the death of President Nelson. Not after he goes back into the 12, not after they get a revelation, they decide it's the guy with the most seniority. No. Immediately following the death of Russell Nelson, he's asked what he experienced in becoming the next prophet. And he immediately tells you the game, which is that there is no process that they're telling you about. It's simply the guy with the most seniority is the leader of the church. That's how it works. And
It's
here's
very pedestrian. That's the beauty of it. By the way, this lady, I don't know her name, but she looks like the Mormon, the Deseret News version of Diane Sawyer.
Yeah, she does have a little bit of that look to her. And she asked the question that gets the answer. He says the quiet thing out loud.
We appreciate it so much. President Oaks, at President Nelson's funeral, you described him as your best friend and most effective teacher. I'm curious if you could help us understand your first feelings when you realized that your friend and teacher had passed and that the responsibility of leading the church as the new prophet would fall to you.
Well, I had the two reactions implied in your question. I felt that I had lost a friend. I sat by him for 41 years in the highest councils of the church, and I knew what it would mean to be in the chair he had occupied so capably. So I felt sorrow and burden.
And how do you...
I see what you're saying. What he's saying, he's not refuting the implicit part of the end of her question, which is, once he dies, how did you feel knowing that you're the next prophet?
The moment he died, I felt sorrow and burden.
Because I knew it was me.
Because it's me. Yep.
It was always me.
He gives the game away.
It was you, Charlie. It was you all along.
It was.
You sound more like Bogart than Brando, but what the hell?
So you can know immediately. And again, the apologists can come in and go, no, he's the lead apostle. And he goes back into the 12. And either way, he has to feel a burden. And you can see that whole bullshit story. He knew the moment that Nelson was dead and he had gotten word on it, that he was the next leader of the church. Hence, all the formalities afterward are bullshit. They don't mean anything. You always get back to here no matter what. This is where you started. This is where you get back to. And all of this is meaningless.
It's a classic instance, as I mentioned once before, of this is what happens when a church has no revelation. You have to come up with procedures that you follow as a substitute for revelation. And these procedures will tell you everything that you must do in every circumstance. And over 200 years, you start to have a body of tradition that covers all of that. But at the same time, the church claims revelation, and so they try and call it revelation, even though it's obviously not. And this was a point where the obviously not part bobbed to the surface for a second.
Yeah. It reminds me, you mentioned this in a recent episode, but Hugh B. Brown's The Apostolic Charge. The Apostolic Charge was invented so that whenever you met a standstill, because the minority was not willing to move on, something wasn't agreed to, and we do not want to proceed with it, they created a thing where it still looks like they all went ahead with it. It's no different than this. I mean, you go into the room, and as long as you have the Apostolic Charge, you can easily poll the room, and if there's any minority, even if they're split in multiple ways, you can come up with a system whereby the majority, moves on, the majority moves on, and you create a system where you never get locked. And always the people in the majority always get to determine what current Mormonism is. Anyway, it's just a game, and he gives it up right there. He said it out loud. Yeah.
The church is run by politics, and that's all it is. There's no revelation to it.
I will say it's at least better than politics in that the guy who lives the longest makes it. So that can't be without doing something really
politicized.
Yeah. So at least there's a natural way you get the leader. And if the healthiest ego does survive to 100 years old, maybe he gets to make a change or two that makes the church a little better.
Or he gets to make 20 different changes that don't make any difference at all.
Yeah. That happens a lot too, doesn't it?
Not once. Well, he made so many changes. I mean, I think Elder Oaks is going, wow, maybe the sky's the limit. I don't have to be a placeholder like every other prophet before me since Brigham Young. I could be another President Nelson.
Somebody will want to do a lot, and it'll happen. We're at 9:42. Do you want to take us home?
I will. I'm going to take you home, baby.
That'd be nice.
Bill Law out there, William Law. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I know what you said. The Ned Scarsbrick, when he says Bill Law, you go, Ned, why do you always do that? Why do you have to say that like you're on an intimate first name basis with these guys? It's William Law. I'm sorry you couldn't get in tonight. Don't know what was going on there, William, but hopefully you can come in next night. By the way, 2 weeks from tonight is going to be Halloween. We're going to be doing our thing. It's going to be a Halloween party. And
we have a rule. You can't come into the show unless you're in a costume, correct?
Yeah. I was going to take one step before that, which is me and Bill, which is the way I like to say Bill and I, are going to come in costume. Bill already has. Were we on the air when you said that?
Yeah, it's on order. It's on the way. My costume is
yes, I talked about that.
2 days. Yeah.
Oh, right. The Children of the Night, what music they make. It's all coming back to me now. Thank you. So yeah. We'll be in costume for Halloween. This will be the first time I've been in costume for a long time. And Bill will be in costume, and that's the thing. To come on the show, you gotta wear your costume because we're having a big party.
And we hope there's 20 of you. We hope that there's a whole bunch of you who come into the live studio dressed all up for Halloween and tell us an interesting story. I don't know. Are we doing ghost stories again?
Oh, yeah. Monster stories if you got them.
Monster stories.
But most people have ghost stories.
Okay. I'll bring one. You bring one. The crowd will bring one. Come in with a costume on. Please, please, please make it a fun night. Help make it better by dressing up for Oh Hallows Eve.
And bring some candy for us, okay? Because we'll be trick-or-treating. Candy bar. All right, everybody. And then this coming Monday for the newscast, 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. I understand Rebecca's not going to be joining us. Is that true, Bill?
I don't know that. You're saying Rebecca's not joining us for the newscast. Is she?
I'm sort of asking it. I said it and then I asked it.
I don't know. Was something said that I missed?
Either that or I misinterpreted something that I didn't miss.
Okay. Well, maybe not. We'll see what happens here.
Wait a second here. Okay. Rebecca's saying, damn it. Could you be more specific, Rebecca?
You are a troublemaker, RFM.
From way back. Oh, yeah. Here's what she says. I'm out of town. She's going to a place that has no internet. That's how far out of town she's going. She's actually going to outer space.
I tried, Rebecca. But RFM, you can't get in the way. It's like you try to get and jump in front of him, but he's just like a moving bus. You can't do it.
Yeah, Kung Fu's better than karate with me.
That's right.
She's here. They're here. So here's Rebecca. She's joining us. She's been watching. I knew she was watching. That's why I did all that stuff. Okay. So that's Monday. It's going to be Bill. It's going to be me. We're going to be great. We're going to be like two kids when the mom is gone shopping.
We're going to get in a lot of trouble. And because she doesn't have the internet, she won't know about it, folks. So it'll just be RFM, myself, and all of you causing a ruckus.
We're going to pretend like it's going to be the news until she's out of town. Then we're going to change it the last minute to tell funny stories about Rebecca.
That sounds great.
That could cover an hour and a half easy, I think.
Yeah, we'll have special guests on, maybe people in the family, other things. We'll just tell really cool stories about Rebecca's life and things that everyone will laugh at.
It'll be like, this is your life without Rebecca. That'd be nice. We could present it to her, some kind of video. We'll burn it to a CD. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for coming out to Mormonism After Dark. It's always nice. It's one of the things I really, really look forward to during the week is Friday and Friday evening, because it's time for Mormonism After Dark. Just to relax a little bit, talk among friends, sing a song, tell a joke, eat a chicken. So hopefully we'll see you next time. Bill, a pleasure as always. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Oh, that's right, because I'll never get us out of here at this rate, because there's always more stuff that we're doing. Radio Free Mormon, aiming it for tomorrow night, set to record tomorrow morning. I have a couple of guests. We're going to talk about what just happened. Nothing happened. Gerd, somebody just entered the studio.
Yeah, you don't see it, but we see it. Do we want to bring Gerd on, or do we want to close out the show?
Yeah, bring Gerd on for a second.
All right.
Gerd.
Can
Gerd.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
yay. Yay.
Keep your eyes on the road.
Are you violating traffic laws right now?
No. I'm so happy to talk to you guys. This is crazy. I called myself Gerd because that's what a homeless man named me.
Gerd. Well,
Yep.
it has a ring to it.
So
It's as good as your new name.
it is. My temple name is Ruth.
I like Gerd better.
I do too. So, hey, I just have this question. So my brother-in-law is Steve Densley.
Hey, wait a second. You know who that is, Bill? Who is that's what Fair?
Steve Densley used to be the vice president of Fair Mormon at one time.
The
Correct.
vice president. Okay.
And I don't think he's with them anymore, but he was a very hardcore apologist.
So when you
Yes,
say
and-
he's your brother-in-law, does that mean your husband is his brother, or your
He's married
sister
to
is
my
married to him?
He's married to my sister.
Yeah.
Okay. You're smiling
And-
when you say that.
And there's a lot to say about all of that. And I was estranged from my family for 12 years, and I hid from them actually, and I they didn't even know I had kids. Like, that's how far away I went. And anyway, I just had this thought pop into my head, like, what you think as apologists, like, I was just thinking what my brother-in-law would think about Jacob Hansen. Like, what would he say about these with the whatever you called it, the group of five or whatever? Like, what would they say? What would would apologists be in favor or support of Jacob Hansen?
Well, Jacob Hansen is an apologist. He's one of the ranker sort. But since Bill actually knows Steve Densley, I'll defer to Bill on this one.
I think as long as the person defending the church says the thing that garners belief, the apologetic stance, some believing perspective. It doesn't matter how absurd it is, as long as you note the believing view, I think you are seen as one of the good guys, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, because I mean, I never got along with Steve, but he is a smart guy.
A lot in common so far in this conversation, Gerd.
Sorry?
We have a lot in common so far in this conversation.
I know. I've listened to you guys for years, and I don't know. I just happen to be brave enough to call. But I just thought, like, Jacob Hansen and others like him, they're just so far out there, and I can't imagine what. I was just thinking at like one of our family dinners, like, what if I just came up to Steve and said, "How about that Jacob?" And like,
I don't know if you would know him by first name. Jacob's a pretty
Jacob
common
Hansen.
name. Well, how about that Jacob Hansen? Now he probably know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he does. But
For
like,
apologists, the argument and what is said is not as important as the conclusion. As long as you get to the right conclusion, which is the church is true, any apologetic will do almost, exceptions to every rule. But I think that's the general rule.
How is Steve at a family dinner? How is he
He's
around?
still eating with his hands,
Around
and food's going everywhere, and the dogs are gathering.
how did you know?
I was just wondering.
How
I was hoping he had learned how to use utensils by now, but
how did you know that? Have you had dinner with him?
I peek through a lot of windows.
I'm gonna get in trouble. I feel so nervous. He does eat fast and a lot, and then he just
And then he goes to the bathroom and purges.
He will say his opinions, and I mean, my family, I don't feel like I'm allowed to speak at all. Like, I've lost all credibility, so I don't even try. And I love them, but I really do love them, but I know what they think of me, and I'm going to outer darkness and all that. But he'll say what he needs to say, and then he sleeps. He'll like sleep the rest of the day on the couch. Like, I hardly even
Any
talk to
day
him.
or Sunday or
I hardly ever go to visit them. I live in California now. They're all in Utah, and anytime, so I've only been back in touch with my family for the last couple of years, and whenever I've gone there, it's just like when I was 12 years old. He just sleeps on the couch the whole time. But I'll say,
you've known him
he
since
can
you were
play the
12?
guitar. He can play the guitar.
Nice.
But you've known him since you were 12?
Oh, I've known him since I was probably 10.
Is that because your sister's so much older than you?
Well, she's 5 years older than me. And
Okay.
I think
still.
they met around 15, and they started
Really?
dating in high school. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's 5 of us, 2 boys, 2 girls. I have one brother that left the church before me, actually. And I've been out for like over 20 years now. I went on a mission, and I have been married and divorced twice, and I have 2 kids. And I did hide from the family for several years, and I
Looks
did
like you
get a
still are.
message. I got a message from Steve a few years back on Facebook Messenger, which I never went on. I didn't even know how to use Facebook Messenger, and it was, I found it a couple years ago, and it had been written like I don't know, like 2010, and it was like all about how I'm just bad, and my dad's sick, and I should feel guilty for yada 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 yada. It was very preachy and reprimanding, and at the time I had no idea how far along he had gotten. I didn't know he was doing farms or anything like that.
So he eats fast, a little gross, and then he puts his 2 cents in. He tells everyone around the table what he thinks about things, and then he sleeps on the couch the rest of the time.
That's got to be a Sunday afternoon.
It's Sunday. It's Thanksgiving. It's Christmas. Um,
It's a
So
Tuesday.
what's the weirdest and strangest thing that you've ever seen Steve Densley do or heard him say? There's got to be something that sticks out.
There are some things that you'd be surprised, I think, to know about him. And like I said, I haven't talked to him in years, like had a real
Like what?
conversation.
What
But
would I be surprised by?
he loves classic rock, man. He loves classic rock.
Yeah.
And he can play the guitar. I'm a musician, so I'm a professional musician, and so that's something that I dig and I respect. But
It's going to be interesting over the next 5 years seeing who goes to more family dinners from this point forward, you or Steve Densley.
oh, I don't go very often. I'm lucky if I see my family once a year.
So have you ever thought about jamming with him?
He won't let me.
He won't? I thought all guitarists
no,
like to
'cause
jam.
It's like there's a pecking order, right? Like, I don't know. I'm very low on the totem pole, so there's just not a lot of. Anyway,
Things got worse with this phone call. Just FYI. All right, Gerd. Have a great day.
The reason I
please.
was trying to think about what Steve would say about somebody like Jacob Hansen, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, I think, is what I'm thinking about. But
Yeah. No, because there's an intentional avoiding. There's an intentional stepping away from wanting to talk about it. It's not healthy.
He'll protect his own.
It's kind of unbelievable. But I do want to say, I mean, like I'm like giddy right now talking to you guys. I really I didn't listen to any post-Mormon stuff only recently, like only the last couple of years, and I had no idea. Like before I did my research, before internet came out with all this stuff, I didn't know the language. I didn't know any. It's just very comforting to know that there are people guiding others and helping others and supporting others. So I appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice. You pulled over to the side of the road to complete the phone call, didn't you?
I did.
Good. That made me feel better. I was getting anxious for you.
Yeah, I could tell. I could feel that.
I was getting ready to tell you, don't talk to the cops.
I was feeling your anxiety for me.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm glad you called. I'm glad we took the call.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great day, Gerd.
Great to hear from you, Gerd. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, okay.
Bye-bye.
Can you imagine going to the temple and going to the veil? And I wonder what the expression on the other guy's face, you couldn't see it because there'd be a veil in the way. When you talk about the second, the name for the second token of the Aaronic priesthood, and you say Gerd.
Gerd. Yeah. You should say a different word than what they have planned.
Gerd.
That would put them off. Dirty Gerd. Bill Law is down there.
Okay, let's try Bill.
I have a funny feeling this is going to be Ned Scarsbrick.
Bill, is that? No, it's not Ned Scarsbrick. If it is, we will make a human sacrifice of him here on the public airwaves. Hi, Ned. How you doing?
Hey there, guys. Great to talk to you.
That's not Ned.
It's not.
No. Bill.
No, I'm not.
You finally
Ned.
made it. I'm so glad you made it.
I did. I had to adjust my little Wi-Fi antenna thing, but I made it.
I picture you scrambling up on the roof in the middle of the night.
Yep, that's exactly it.
I bet. So what brings you here?
So, well, I heard you talking about the new first presidency, and it dawned on me that this is our first new hire for the senior leadership of Ensign Peak in the post-SEC scandal era. Brother Christofferson, you know?
He is in the club now.
And I was thinking, does he even know any investment management? Is he going to maximize the returns on our tithes? But then I realized, you know what? As you pointed out, he's a lawyer. In fact, he's a bank lawyer.
Was he a banking lawyer? Was he a banking lawyer? That figures.
So we've got the lawyer who's the religious liberty guy, right? And now we've
Yes.
got the lawyer who's a bank, like a financial institution,
Yes.
Bill,
right? And
suggesting,
defending.
are you suggesting they're going to cash out the 265 billion in the market and buy CDs? I mean, what are you?
No, not at all.
This is the power first presidency.
Yeah.
It could be.
CDs
Yep.
are getting a healthy 4% if you pick the right bank. I mean, that's
You
not.
know, the thing is, I just want to say it so everybody understands. I think most people do. The church is underperforming the S&P 500. You're aware of that, right, Bill?
Oh yeah, it's true. Especially
You could exactly track the S&P 500, whichever you can look at in your freaking newspaper.
Yep.
And you could apportion your money that's invested in the stock market exactly the way that is, and you would make more money percentage-wise than the church is. Because the church is basically following the S&P, but they're monkeying with each one a little bit, up or down or whatever, right? Or buying more of and less. But overall, they keep buying less of the thing they should buy more of, and more of the thing they should buy less than, such that at the end of the year, they're less than if they had just invested strictly according to the S&P 500. That's revelation for you.
A church
Yep.
led by revelation hires people to invest its money so that it can do well, and it could have just skipped hiring people, invested in the S&P 500, and did better.
You could get rid of the people altogether. For crying out loud.
Yeah, once you take into account the cost of hiring, lots of investment managers like Roger Clark. Roger Clark was
how bad they are.
He was an actual genius, Roger Clark. I mean, people don't know how.
Well, he wrote a book.
Genius. He wrote many books, and
he wrote the textbook, right?
Yes, he did. He wrote some textbooks. He's written lots of material that
on how not to violate the law when you're doing your tax returns. He wrote that book, didn't he?
Oh, I wasn't familiar with that one. No,
that's
I
a
was.
Joke because
I was.
That's a joke because Ensign Peak and SEC.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with his material that he wrote about active fund management, portfolio management. So he's an absolute genius. I mean, the stuff
he is.
that
It's a funny thing that such an absolute genius would forget with such consistency to file those 13F filings with the SEC all those years, but only on the church accounts, not on his own personal, private management business that he had.
True. Now, I was thinking, you guys are probably trying to cut this off. It took me a long time to try to get in here. I was going to bring up one more thing. I've talked to you before about how I'm trying to put together a presentation to go over some in-depth issues with Ensign Peak, right? But it's taken me a long time to get it together. But
have you succeeded?
No, not the whole thing, but I could give a little piece here. Do you want to see a little piece?
How long is a little piece?
Less than 5 minutes.
What the hell?
Okay.
Show us your piece.
Should no. Alrighty. Well, so as you know from the SEC settlement, there were all these business managers in charge of signing those 13F forms, right? And how did they choose those guys? Do you guys remember?
According to their names being common.
Ordinary names, yeah.
I think one of them was a janitor.
No social media profile or a
low
profile. Mm-hmm.
Just low profile people, right? Probably nobody important, right?
Right, with ordinary names.
Yeah. Well, can I show you one of those 13Fs right now? Like if I hit present.
You hit present, it would show up on the screen. I don't see any reason why we couldn't see that.
All right.
You see any legal issues with showing that, RFM? I don't think there is.
Not if it's what it's being presented as or represented as.
Is it showing up right now?
It is not showing up.
Oh, okay. No, here we go.
Present screen, share screen. Dun, dun, dun. See if I got a drum roll.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Here it is. So this,
Can you zoom in a bunch?
yeah.
Make the font bigger or something?
Here we
Zoinks,
go.
Scooby. That's actually
Is-
working, but
that
not
working?
yet.
Go
Okay.
big,
Even, all right, cool.
bigger, bigger, bigger. Yeah, keep going.
What is this?
So this is back in 2013, before they changed to a nicer HTML view. This is what those 13F reports actually look like on the SEC Edgar filing system.
By the way,
So-
Bill Law, for our audience, who are you that we should listen to you?
Oh, I have a few credentials. I am a licensed CPA. I have been in the investment world for over 20 years. Leave it at that. I'm part of professional associations that include senior leadership at Enzyme Peak. Can leave it at that.
Gentlemen, it's Roger Clark.
Roger, thank
Yeah,
you for
no.
calling in.
No.
Tell us.
I'm not Roger Clark, but I have sat at a table with Roger Clark. I will say that.
Okay, great. Have we spoken on the phone, Bill?
We have. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, go ahead and take
So,
us through
here we
this.
go.
It looks like
So
just a
this
bunch
is-
of gobbledygook to
It
me.
does, yeah. Now you'll see this right here does not say Enzyme Peak.
Right.
This is one of the false LLCs that they
Green
made.
Valley Investors.
And let's see, who is the manager?
Alan Bott, B-O-T-T. I remember Randy Bott.
Yeah, I wonder there. I don't know if there's any relation there,
But
but
there's his phone number. Let me give him a call.
yeah. So now that doesn't seem like super common of a name, does it?
No.
No.
Well, it's kind of unusual.
Yeah. So,
In
Not
fact,
sure
that's the
if-
second time I've ever seen it.
not sure if that idea holds. I'm worried they might have pulled a little bit of a Jedi mind trick saying, well, we just chose some people with common names. You don't need to look any further. Anyway. Is
Then
it?
maybe we should be looking for uncommon names.
Yeah. So I just changed over to a different document. Are you looking at this?
I see
It's
it.
on the screen. It's very small.
Okay.
We can't read it.
And
let's see
by
if we
which I mean
can-
the words are small.
Yeah. So
Now, what is this?
this is an earlier Mormon leak document that's out there on the internet.
It says
So-
access to church financial data.
Yeah, this is just an exhibit. It was leaked back in 2016, part of one of the Mormon leaks. But it's this internal financial standard document that the church keeps on
Mhm.
file internally. Financial standard 6230.
Well, there's Bott.
Oh, and it's signed by
Alan Bott.
Alan Bott, the church controller. There we go. Interesting. Back in 2013, which is when that SEC filing was submitted.
He works for the church as well as the dummy company.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, wasn't
And-
that a dummy company, the Green Valley?
Yeah, Green Valley. But he's the church controller. That sounds
Oh,
like
wait
pretty,
a second now.
pretty important title there. Now
Holy
on
crap.
that last page,
He was a big deal. He was the opposite of the janitor.
yeah, on this final page of this, the Exhibit A, it has this big graph of who has access to what financial data. And as you can believe, the Enzyme Peak investment securities, very few people have access to that. First presidency, even Quorum of the 12 is no.
Are you
Yeah.
able
Because
to
I-
show us where that is on this?
Zoom
Sorry.
in more.
The Enzyme Peak.
Well, what I'm looking at here is investment securities.
Where is
So-
it?
So
It's
right
high
here.
there. The
Okay,
bottom.
so
Yeah.
I see that it's highlighted on the left in the margin,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
But
So
where on this chart do you want us to look?
oh yeah, so these columns here, first presidency has access to it. Yes.
Okay.
The quorum of the 12, no.
There's a no down there.
The
Wait a
presiding
second. It's yes
bishopric,
for everything except for
yes.
cash. Quorum of the 12 doesn't get to know about the cash
Apparently not.
or what is that? It's like our boxes are just investment securities is also a no for the
Yeah,
quorum
for
of the
quorum of
12.
the 12. Well, we already
But-
knew that. Enzyme
But the
peak,
presiding bishopric is yes. Okay, go ahead.
presiding bishopric, yes. The 70, no.
Right.
The area presidencies, no. But look, the managing director of finance and records and the church controller,
Yeah.
Roller.
they
What about
are
'em?
Alan
a
Bott.
yes. They are a yes.
Well, I
Whoops.
could not see that. Hey, Bill, can we let me try and do this? I'll put this up on the side.
Yeah, I can
Let's
just
do that. Can you show that to us again?
Can you zoom in a little more? Maybe 3 or
And
4
I'm
more.
sorry.
Sorry. Yep.
Okay, so I see where it is. Church controller, that's Andy Bott, at least in 2013.
Alan Bott.
Alan Bott, sorry.
Yep, church controller, and also his boss, the managing director of the entire finance and records department.
Okay,
Those two top people in church finance
right.
under investment securities, yes, one of the few people that do. So this is the church controller has a lot of access.
Can you go all the way down to the bottom? Can you scroll that to the
Oh, yeah.
bottom box?
Yeah, you want to see all these other categories of financial data?
So there's the investment securities, and there's a yes there, and then a no over there. Is that what we're talking about, the investment securities?
The investment securities, yeah, that's going to be the holdings of Enzyme Peak.
Okay, so there's a yes and a no I see there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and this yes here, sorry, I got to keep scrolling to see the different parts zoomed in, but yeah,
Yeah.
the church controller is one of the very few people that has access to.
Didn't it say no?
Mm-mm.
Over
Investment securities.
For the quorum of the
church
12,
controller.
so the quorum of the 12 is a no, but the church controller is a yes. And what you're pointing to is that
No, it's a no.
no, that's the church controller's representatives over here in the
Oh,
far
I see. Okay, so you're saying
Is a
over
no.
here on the left
Right.
is where Alan Bott should be.
right here, church controller and his boss, the finance and records managing director, are a
Okay,
yes.
and his boss.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
think about
Thank
this.
you for explaining that.
That there is an inside group that are the best of the secret keepers. They're allowed to be in the inner chambers of the church, and they get to see these records. And then one of them, very high up, who got to see the SEC money, is also conveniently called to manage one of the 13 dummy companies. He's already in on the ruse on the front end.
Yeah. So, yeah, back there on that actual 13F filing, he signed his name. It appears, unless they want to say that there's more than one Alan Bott. But
That's weird.
Anyway,
Well, is there anything? I think this is a remarkable find that Alan Bott, who is the church controller, was also one of the fake, account managers, the dummy company money manager
yeah,
on one of the dummy companies called Green Valley.
that's right.
Do you okay? I
Now-
understand what you're saying now, and thank you for explaining it to me. What do you make of that?
Well, it tells me that they sold this idea and got it approved in the settlement document, negotiated settlement, to kind of do a hand wave there to say, oh, we chose people with common names, low profiles.
Yes.
You wouldn't be able to,
Get them out in the crowd.
it wouldn't be anybody who matters, of course, because all we cared about was finding someone with a common name that wouldn't be identified.
So this
It turns out,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
it turns out there were actually a few important people, and
more
this is
than Alan Bott.
there are more. I don't think we want to take the time to go into that.
We
right
can't,
now.
but this sounds fascinating.
But
Bill, I got to ask you
This
this:
is one.
Is Alan Bott still practicing in his profession, and if so, why?
Now, I'm so glad you asked that, because that's the next piece I want to show you here.
Because
He
he's unethical as F,
now,
and he shouldn't be practicing
for
anywhere.
one, so I switched over to look at a professional license lookup for Alan Bott. He is an active CPA.
Zoom in again and zoom in a whole bunch, please.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
There's
So
no way
this is where
to see
you
that.
looked up like on the bar association, except for here it's the CPA for the
Yeah,
state.
this is the Utah Professional License Lookup and Verification System.
Okay. So
So
Alan Elbot has his license currently. He's a CPA. How can that be when he has? Well, let me ask you, since you're the CPA, okay? Did he do anything wrong?
yeah, it turns out there's a very clear thing in the AICPA Code of Ethics that says that you cannot sign a document that is misleading. So, I mean, you shouldn't. He definitely did that. It was, and of course, in the negotiated settlement, they'll say, well, what they usually ended up doing was somebody else would fill it out. They would just get their signature. They wouldn't even see what exactly the information was they were signing for. They just signed the signature page. Well, it turns out that that is also against the
He knew
ethics.
the whole operation. He knew the whole thing. He was in on it on the front end. He's one of the guys who gets to see the information to begin with. He
Yeah.
knows the whole thing, and he still joined up to be the head of a dummy company to help the church hide it.
And you'll see here on the license record, it does give you a note here if there's been any disciplinary action on their record. No disciplinary action. So, I mean, I don't know. That kind of causes me some problems. So now that's not all. I wondered, that was back in 2013. So, and actually, to be clear, this was signed, there's an exact date on the SEC filing, February 13th, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if that matches up exactly to this document. This was signed June 3rd, 2013. So it was
after.
We're like 4 months different there.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty close.
It's pretty
That's
close.
pretty good.
He there is actually in this same leak of some financial documents, just barely earlier, there was somebody else functioning as the church controller that signed other similar documents. So it could have been that in those 4 months he changed. He maybe was not the church controller exactly when he signed his name.
Does that change the argument, though? It doesn't change anything. He was a controller. He understood the system. He's one of the very few people who could see behind the scenes and see how much money the SEC had, knew it was being put into dummy companies. He's then created to be one of the heads of a dummy company and helps the church.
In fact, you could see it as he did this and very soon was promoted.
This isn't money laundering, but this is a sort of like money laundering.
Yeah. Well, now, one last thing. I was wondering, that was way back in 2013, of course. It turns out he only signed one document.
Did he only sign one, or is there only one that we have a signature on?
No, he only signed one. He signed this one quarterly report.
Who signs it regularly for Green Valley, and maybe he was sick that day?
I don't know, maybe. The very next one was signed by somebody else, and it is actually another important person in the church.
Gordon B. Hinckley?
No, not that important.
Dang.
But it is somebody who we see in conference. So anyway.
Is it that guy? Is that smarmy little guy who goes up there and says everything's good with the money in the church, so don't ask any questions?
Yeah, you nailed it there. I wasn't gonna bring that one up, but yeah, you nailed it.
But you give me enough clues.
Jared
Larson.
Larson.
I'll get it. I think Hinckley was passed away by 2013. It would have had to have been Monson, but it's not. And I can't remember that guy's name.
It's Jared Larson.
Jared Larson. So, and I had mentioned this. It wasn't in this past conference. Did they
No.
have somebody
So,
get up there and talk about the finances in this last conference?
I think
they only do it in April conference,
Yeah.
so that's
Okay,
an
because I was
annual.
all of a sudden I was thinking I don't remember that. So they only do it in April. Well, April's enough.
Yeah.
So last
So
April, because of our
if
conversation, I mentioned when he got up there how much it burned me that this guy who's getting up here and telling you everything's fine and nothing's rotten in the state of Denmark with the church's finances is the same schmo who signed off on one of these dummy companies with the SEC.
Yeah. So I went to the next filing there, and
Oh,
this,
that's the name right there.
yeah. So for this same dummy
Same Green Valley.
LLC,
Okay.
the next quarterly report was signed by Jared Larson.
Jared Larson,
Now,
you little quisling.
They weren't just
Yeah.
getting those schmoes out there. They were hand picking the people already on the inside of the chamber.
Which
yeah.
makes
Now,
sense.
again, somebody may want to say, well, hold up there. Jared Larson is a common name.
It is a very
right?
common name.
But
Yeah.
it could also be him.
It
I
doesn't
actually
have like his phone number. That's a phone number to the dummy company, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
it is.
just an answering
So,
machine.
But the fact that they've got Alan Bott,
Yes.
they've got Jared Larson,
Yes.
they've got their other high up people who have had important positions in church finance.
It was all the high up guys who were doing this lowbrow stuff. And
it
they were
wasn't
trying to
all.
palm it off on the janitor.
It wasn't all. There are enough names that they could have picked out some and sold that and negotiated it, saying, see, look, there's this guy, Nathan Brown. Okay. Yeah. Who's that? There's this person, Jennifer Johnson. Oh, wow. Yeah. Like there are enough examples of people with common names that they can build a case to make it look like that. But these are a couple of important people, and
Is this
especially
Jared Larson guy? Is he a CPA too?
Yes, he is.
So how do you feel being a CPA in the same state that will allow these schmoes to have licenses the same as you?
It kind of boils my blood. I've had to study ethics quite a lot in my career.
Apparently they needed to study it more.
Well, yeah, except you choose your ethics in a priority, a hierarchy, and there's that article of faith of we believe in being honest, but there's also that article of faith of obedience to the laws and ordinances of the gospel. And if their prophet is telling them what they need to do for the good of the church,
Gospel teachings online.
Yeah,
those are great documents. I'm so glad that you finally got through, Bill.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing. I wondered if Alan Bott is still around as church controller. I happened to come across, there's this awesome business conference coming up next month. It's over in Munich, Germany.
Jawohl.
Celosphere 2025. You can get your ticket. It's like 1,000 euros to attend this conference.
What is that, like $1.50?
I don't know. Probably something close to that. Anyway, they've got a lineup of great speakers. It's this kind of business and technology.
Oh, wait
conference.
a second. This is the slow buildup, isn't it, Bill?
They've got this lineup of speakers and panelists, and if you look through it,
Diederik, Gaia. Is there going to be an Alan Bott in there?
Yeah. Oh,
holy
what's
crap!
this
Wait
one?
a second.
Oh,
there
my
he
goodness.
Is. Oh, you got to be
goodness.
freaking kidding me! He's still
Alan
the controller.
Bott.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Bill?
He is apparently. I mean, you would think if he submitted a bio for this engagement to be at this business conference, controller, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Holy crap! Maybe they're using it from an old conference and didn't get the update. Hey, Bill.
No, this is the 2025
I don't. Yeah, but anyway, I don't know. I don't know a lot about business structures. So help me out here. Is a controller the same thing as a comptroller?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
People
it
just
is.
got tired of saying that old word comptroller.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
So it's usually it's just under the CFO. They report to the CFO. In smaller organizations, the CFO and controller can be the same person. In
And
fact,
you're using a
that's
lot of lingo. I know CFO is Chief Financial Officer. Can you just tell our audience and me, frankly, what's the basic job description of a controller in a company? What would this guy Alan Bott be doing
it's
in a
just
church?
it's the head accountant. It's the person who is kind of in charge of all the financial reporting and kind of the last line of defense as things go up the chain to the C-level folks to kind of sign off on, like,
Apparently, part of the
the financial
definition that
report.
Bill law is that a controller is a senior financial professional who manages a company's accounting records and produces accurate financial reports.
Yeah, there you go.
Accurate financial reports.
Yeah, of course. Has to be.
That sounds like a guy with a lot of power, especially in a big company like the LDS Church.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Should be.
This seems like this should be part of a longer episode, that we should put all this stuff up on the screen.
Maybe. I don't
Already.
know. I'm getting very old, so people are not so older. Everybody's looking younger, is what I'm saying. But this guy's a controller in the LDS Church that has $300 billion in the EPA. I mean, his picture. He kind of looked like Eric, the red. Do you have that picture up there still? Did you find that, Bill? Was it you who found his picture? No, that was that, or is that you?
Bill
There he
Law
is.
here. Yeah,
What the heck? This guy's the accountant over all the other accountants in a $300 billion company? Wow, he must be smart.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of experience. He worked for Deloitte, one of the big 4 accounting firms in the past. He's got a master's in accounting. He's a CPA.
Do you know about how old he is? Because here he looks like he's in his 30s.
No, this is a later picture. I've seen other younger pictures of him. Yeah, I could tell
Maybe he
you
just looks young
that.
for his age.
Yeah, I'm pulling up my little tracker here of all the.
You have a tracker?
Yeah, I kind of looked and dove in. I did a big rabbit hole deep dive into all of the 13F signers, and there are 21 of them. Just so you know, there are 21 unique signers.
How many of them would we recognize? Would you give us a connection to the church and us go like, oh, that guy?
There are probably 5 that.
It's a lot.
If I showed you just.
You're picking randos. It's a lot of people to pick.
Yeah.
Were any of the signatures Colby Reddish?
No, I didn't find that one.
Okay.
We'll save it for another time. We would love to have you present that. That'd be a cool thing to go through. But
yeah, so he is about 59.
Get out of the city. Not in that picture.
Maybe not in that picture, but according to my
He
best
just graduated
estimates,
high school in that picture.
According to my best estimates, he's around.
He's heading out to the prom.
59.
Hey, Bill, thank you so much. And I say Bill Law. Bill Law, thank you so much for coming on, showing us your documents. It was wonderful. I'm glad you hung in there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We will let you go for now, okay? Hopefully we'll see more of you later. And geez, if I had just gotten us out of here when we could have, we'd all be home by now. Yeah. But I don't know if we would have had as much fun or learned as much interesting stuff.
I blame it on Gerd.
That was a pretty cool phone call, huh?
It was.
It's like she's out there. It's nighttime. She's driving down the road. That was cool.
And that info we just got shared, I thought was pretty cool. And The conversation we had on Steve Densley, I thought was awesome. He eats fast and then sleeps all day.
I have Bill Law in my phone under his real name. I can't remember what his real name is. So if you just text me and say, hey, this is Bill Law, you'll help me. It's been a number of months, obviously, if I mentioned it last April. Okay, everybody, we're going to get out of here before anybody else drops by. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.